Scientific Cultivation of Immortality, beginning with a wish. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26. If you don't agree, come and fight. Time passed slowly on the test playground. During this period, some were happy and some were worried. At 11 o'clock in the morning, the realm tests of all the second-year high school students had ended. A total of 178 people took the test, including 29 in the flesh refining realm, 90 in the bone refining realm, 53 in the inner energy realm, and 6 in the innate realm. Compared with the last mock exam, there was a big improvement overall. And according to the usual practice, the next senior year semester will be a blowout period for students to quickly break through. In this final exam, the Class 2 performed particularly well. There are 6 innate realm students in the whole grade, and the Class 2 occupies 2, Song Yihan, Li Wu. If Chen Mo, the pseudo-innate, is included, that is 3, ranking in the top 7. And in the inner energy realm, the Class 2 also occupies more than 10 places. So far, this test result made Su Cheng excited and walked around the playground 3 times with his hands behind his back. Especially when passing by Qin Meng's Class 1. Su Cheng walked with his head held high and his eyes looking up at the sky, almost causing Qin Meng to come forward and scold him. Indeed, considering the qualifications of the students in Class 2, this result is quite impressive and unexpected. The number of students in the Xianshan realm is almost half of that in Class 1. This made Su Cheng look at Chen Mo with more appreciation. Su Cheng thought at this time that he should strike while the iron is hot. Perhaps he should now send the promised reward as a congratulations. After the realm test, the next step is the actual combat test. This test is actually mainly to test the results of the elective courses. Because of the elective courses, some students choose hot weapons, and some choose cold weapons. Therefore, in the actual combat test, students can choose to challenge their opponents one-on-one, or they can choose to enter the metaverse world, a virtual world with a 1 degree of reality combined with technology and formations, and conduct a large-scale hot weapon battle assessment with virtual creatures. Before the exam yesterday, Liu Hai originally planned to challenge Chen Mo in the actual combat test, and then humiliate Chen Mo in front of the whole grade to regain the face he lost last time. But he didn't expect Chen Mo to have such a shitty luck that he broke through one after another, but he still didn't give up in his heart. In his opinion, a peasant like Chen Mo could not be compared with him. At the same time, Chen Mo could not beat him in the state of perfect internal energy. Chen Mo could have made such a big breakthrough this time, maybe he had found some opportunity in some corner, or took drugs. His real fighting power could not be stronger than him. The practical test begins. At this time, the voice of the teacher of Class 3 came from the playground. The practical test of their class was officially underway. Su Cheng looked at the students of Class 2 in front of him with excitement, straightened his throat and coughed. Then he spoke in an excited tone. In this exam, the students in our Class 2 performed very well, and the overall progress is great. Students like Song Yihan, Li Wu, and Chen Mo performed very well. Especially Chen Mo, who broke through from the bone-tempering realm to the innate realm in a short period of time, setting a school record. Su Cheng had already directly listed Chen Mo as the innate realm. If anyone dared to mention the word fake in front of him, he would be angry. This is the honor of multiple innate students. After all, the tester also wrote that it was not innate. After speaking, Su Cheng noticed Liu Hai's somewhat gloomy expression, hesitated for half a second, and continued to add, "Well, Liu Hai and Yu Pu are also good. They have achieved the perfection of internal energy. If you work harder, you can also achieve the innate state like Chen Mo." After Su Cheng finished his words of encouragement, he immediately turned to look at Chen Mo and said with a smile, "You may still remember what I said last time. I will personally reward the student who made the most progress in our class in this final exam with a bottle of Tiger Demon Bone Refining Paste. Now I will give this reward to classmate Chen Mo. From the middle stage of bone refining, you have advanced to the perfection of internal energy across 6 small realms and 1 large realm, which is comparable to the innate state. This reward is well deserved. Do you have any objections?" After speaking, Su Cheng took out a bottle of Tiger Demon Bone Refining Paste from his portable storage space with a smile and prepared to hand it to Chen Mo. Upon hearing this, The students in Class 2 immediately cast their eyes on Chen Mo with envy. Tiger Demon Bone Refining Paste, such a small bottle is worth 5,000 spirit coins. It would be great if they could get it, maybe they can quickly break through to the inner key realm. At the same time, they can also get the appreciation and praise of the head teacher. Among these high school students, getting the appreciation and praise of the teacher is also a very enviable thing. It's a long story, but it's actually just this moment. Suddenly, just when Chen Mo was about to take the jade bottle, a very discordant voice sounded on the field. Teacher Su, didn't you say to reward the student with the greatest improvement? I remember that Chen Mo's academic performance was the last in the class. He just made a slight breakthrough in the martial arts realm. This can't be considered the greatest improvement. If it's just the breakthrough in the martial arts realm, there are many people in our class who have made a breakthrough this time, Liu Hai said with a gloomy expression. Hearing this questioning voice, Su Cheng's outstretched hand suddenly stopped halfway. Who is so ignorant? How could he not give his head teacher face? Then, Su Cheng turned around and found that it was Liu Hai who said it. He took back the idea of teaching a few words. Liu Hai had always been in the top 3 in the class and was expected to be admitted to the top 10 universities in the Federation. Although he was a little arrogant, he still liked him as long as there were no major problems. So, Su Cheng met Liu Hai's gaze and explained to everyone, in fact, the cultural scores of this exam have come out. Chen Mo's cultural scores are 1,150 points. If you add the 100 points of realm and the elective points at the end, Chen Mo's score this time is enough to rank in the top 10 of the grade. After saying that, he looked at Chen Mo with a sharp look in his eyes. What? Chen Mo's cultural scores were 1,150 points. How is it possible? Isn't he a poor student? In an instant, there was another round of discussion among the crowd of Class 2 on the field. Su Cheng smiled and nodded. He liked to see these little chickens being shocked. So, Su Cheng continued to add, and the 9 strategies for peaceful heaven that was discussed online yesterday was written by Chen Mo. Ah, it turned out to be written by him. At this time, a classmate who had already guessed it exclaimed. Then Su Cheng clicked a few times on his mobile phone and quickly sent the cultural test results to the class group. The students who were still a little skeptical at first finally had to admit it after seeing the transcript with their own eyes. Chen Mo is really awesome this time. This is a case of not making a sound or not making a splash. At this moment, many people's eyes on Chen Mo have changed. Liu Hai looked at the transcript on his phone, and 1,000 horses rolled through his heart. The anger and hatred in his eyes were almost uncontrollable. Fuck, what's going on? This guy is like a different person. How can a loser get 1,150 points? This is even more than him. No, I don't believe he really has this ability. Liu Hai raised his head suddenly, looked at Chen Mo with cold and hateful eyes, and shouted, Teacher Su, I don't accept it. I'm not greedy for the teacher's personal reward. But I will never tolerate Chen Mo's way of breaking through the realm by taking drugs that destroys his foundation. This kind of vanity and self-destruction is absolutely a stain on martial arts. Even his academic performance may have been obtained by cheating. As Liu Hai shouted loudly in doubt. For a moment, the atmosphere on the field was quiet and a little weird. The eyes of those students who were originally a little suspicious and jealous looked at Chen Mo again. I said so. How could a mud-legged student achieve this? This is human nature. You will not envy the success of a stranger, but many people absolutely cannot tolerate that someone who was originally far inferior to themselves surpasses themselves and achieves great results. Seeing this, Su Cheng's eyes revealed an inexplicable meaning. He had noticed that Liu Hai's mood seemed to be a little wrong. So Su Cheng thought for a while, looked at Liu Hai and said slowly, What do you think? Liu Hai stared at Chen Mo with a cold and sharp look like a knife, and said word by word. I want to challenge him. Hearing this, Su Cheng turned his eyes to Chen Mo. Chen Mo glanced at Liu Hai lightly and said coldly, If you don't accept it, come and fight. Please read it, collect it, thank you all the big guys, and wish all the readers who see my book, all your wishes come true in the new year, lots of money, lots of girls, and everything goes as you wish. Chapter 27, Defeat Xianshan, the mystic realm of the witch god. Watching the explosive conversation between the two, a space was quickly cleared on the field. Chen Mo and Liu Hai stood on opposite sides. Everyone was excited and ready to eat melons and watch the show. At this time, Han Feng, who had been standing silently on the side, stood up, glanced at the two of them, and said in a cold voice, "Since both of you have no objection, then this battle will be regarded as a practical test for the two of you." Han Feng finished speaking and glanced at Chen Mo. He seemed to add something meaningful. In the practical test, except for not killing people, everything else can be done freely. After speaking, he stood aside and was ready to rescue at any time. With his high-level key training, he could stop it at any time if danger occurred. Liu Hai stood on the field, looked at Chen Mo coldly and scolded, "Chen Mo, as long as you admit that your grades were obtained by cheating and taking drugs, I can be gentle. Maybe you can relax today." Chen Mo stood in the field like a straight pine or cypress, facing the opponent's provocation, and said indifferently, "You talk too much nonsense. If you want to fight, then fight." After saying that, he clenched the standard long sword used for exams in his hand and waited for the opponent to make a move. Chen Mo thought to himself, "To deal with you, I can't even use the wish system now." "Well, you asked for it." Liu Hai snorted coldly. Seeing that Chen Mo dared to look down on him like this, he became more angry, and the sword force of his move was even more murderous. After drinking, Liu Hai suddenly jumped in front of Chen Mo like a vicious tiger. Suddenly, he swung the long sword in his hand and jumped into the air, with a move of force-splitting Huishan. He chopped down on Chen Mo's head. "Hey, this is the heavy sword style. Not the hurricane sword style learned in class." It seems that this guy learned the sword style outside, and Chen Mo was a little surprised. But just when Liu Hai's long sword was about to hide him, Chen Mo gently moved to the left, dodged Liu Hai's slash and used the move. Wind passes without a trace. Chen Mo's long sword was like a silent breeze. But his sword tip silently cut across the opponent's waist and abdomen. Ling. The two swords collided, and the sword energy burst out, making a crisp sword sound. The breath of the two people was instantly tense, and the figures passed by. After Liu Hai failed to chop, he quickly held the sword and pressed it diagonally, resisting Chen Mo's flexible and strange attack. Heavy mountain. After failing to hit, Liu Hai shouted coldly, turned around quickly and used a very sharp attack. The sword light reflected. In the blink of an eye, the battle between the two was extremely fierce. The figures of the two flashed quickly. Liu Hai's heavy sword style adopted a direct attack strategy, with large openings and closings, and great power. Chen Mo's wind sword technique was fast and flexible. Each sword swept through the air like a gust of wind, bringing up an invisible wind blade, easily resisting the opponent's attack. The moves of both sides fell like flying rain, sounding as if announcing a life and death fight. In an instant, the two had fought for dozens of rounds. Each of them felt each other's strength and ability. I saw that their sword techniques became more and more fierce, and the swords became more and more fierce. But the pace of both sides became very stable, the internal energy was close to their feet, and the breathing was very natural, which proved that the martial arts realm of both of them had reached the peak of internal energy. Even Han Feng, who was watching on the sidelines, nodded in approval. Whether it was Chen Mo's wind sword technique or the heavy sword style used by Liu Hai, they were all remarkable. However, Han Feng knew that this was not Chen Mo's true strength. He really wanted to see when Chen Mo would use the new sword intent he had realized. At this moment, suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the field, followed by a thunderclap. Both sides used all their strength to deliver a fatal blow. Chen Mo's body movement suddenly accelerated, and a cold and sharp sword energy attacked the opponent like a gust of wind. Suddenly, the sword force surged. Liu Hai's face changed suddenly. Chen Mo's strength and swordsmanship had already exceeded his expectations. He didn't expect that Chen Mo's attack power could be improved now. At this time, he had already shown some signs of being defeated. Although Liu Hai was a little anxious, he did not retreat, but immediately adjusted his strategy. He quickly stabilized his body, urged all the strength in his body, and slashed down with a long sword in his hand, slashing at Chen Mo with great force. Bang! A huge force burst out instantly. The swords of the two people intersected instantly, and for a moment, everyone's eyes were attracted by them. Then, with a loud bang, the two retreated at the same time. The scene seemed extremely thrilling, and the atmosphere was solemn and depressing. However, at this time, Chen Mo quickly bullied himself. His wind sword instantly made 9 consecutive swords, hitting the heavy sword on the opposite side. Ding, ding, ding. Before Liu Hai could react, Chen Mo had already used the peak sword skill of the Kuang Feng sword technique, wind linking mountains. 9 consecutive strikes, falling like a storm and thunder. There was no time to react at all. During Chen Mo's 8th strike, the longsword in Liu Hai's hand was knocked down by Chen Mo. Seeing that Chen Mo's 9th sword was about to hit Liu Hai's shoulder, Han Feng on the field shouted calmly, "Stop, the assessment is over. Chen Mo wins." Chen Mo held a long sword that was stopped in front of Liu Hai, hesitated for a moment, and finally retracted the long sword. The expression on his face gradually softened. This also marked the end of this fierce battle. However, the classmates were still discussing the fight just now, and the eyes looking at Chen Mo and Liu Hai changed again. After this battle, no one doubted that Chen Mo relied on drugs to improve his realm. In fact, if Han Feng had not stopped him just now, Chen Mo was really ready to seriously injure Liu Hai with the last sword. Liu Hai looked at Chen Mo, who turned away with some disbelief. His eyes were full of unwillingness, anger and hatred. He had never felt so embarrassed before, and he didn't expect that he would lose to a waste like Chen Mo. Especially after he saw that the classmates around him had lost a little of their former awe of him, he felt like he was insulted. Thinking about the past, how glorious he was, and who among his classmates didn't call him Brother Liu. "Okay, classmate Liu Hai, please step down. You performed well in this battle, but in fact, you didn't lose unfairly," Han Feng said comfortingly to Liu Hai, who was still standing on the field. Little did he know that Han Feng's words, "You didn't lose unfairly," became the last straw that stimulated his spirit. "No, I didn't lose. Chen Mo, if you dare, let's compete again." Liu Hai raised his head abruptly, staring at Chen Mo like a madman. After drinking, he didn't care about other people's opinions, and suddenly took out a black pill from his stored wrist and swallowed it into his stomach. Boom! In an instant, an invisible energy spread out from Liu Hai's body. Then, Liu Hai's momentum surged like an angry tide. The internal energy is perfect, and the internal energy is perfect at its peak. Sensing the sky gate is broken. Click! Only a faint sound of a bottleneck breaking was heard. Breakthrough, innate. Wow, Liu Hai has broken through the innate realm. The classmates who noticed a change exclaimed immediately. What a fast breakthrough speed. Suddenly, the field changed again. Liu Hai's breakthrough once again attracted everyone's attention. Han Feng and Su Cheng looked at each other in silence. Han Feng nodded gently, and 3 words clearly came out of his mouth. Transmigration pill. After quickly breaking through to the innate realm, Liu Hai felt the endless raging sea of true energy in his body. He felt as if he had endless divine power in his body. At this moment, the whole playground was centered on him. Who else could break through the innate realm in front of all the teachers and students of the grade? Only him, Liu Hai. At this moment, his heart was filled with infinite confidence again. Liu Hai urged the innate true energy that overflowed from the sky, and shouted at Chen Mo step by step. "Chen Mo, you want to defeat me? Now that I have broken through the innate realm, come again if you have the guts." His voice was filled with arrogance and disdain, and he looked at Chen Mo as if he was looking down on an ant. Chen Mo turned around and listened to Liu Hai's rampant shouting. Chen Mo shook his head and said calmly, "It's just innate. I will defeat you like a pig or a dog." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28, Defeat Xiantian, the mysterious realm of the witch god. As soon as Chen Mo finished speaking, Liu Hai rushed over without holding back. At this moment, his sword force was like a raging sea, crushing Chen Mo. Especially since Liu Hai advanced to the Xiantian realm by swallowing the transcendent pill. In addition to strengthening the origin of martial arts and not damaging the foundation, the transcendent pill is also the best elixir for breaking through from the perfect internal energy realm to the Xiantian realm. It is not available to ordinary people. And Chen Mo's cultivation suddenly seemed a little weak under the suppression of the opponent's Xiantian realm. It happened in a blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye, Liu Hai, holding a long sword with a monstrous momentum, had already slashed forward. It was still the heavy sword technique. Feeling the opponent's oppression, Chen Mo did not take it lightly this time, and directly mobilized all the internal energy in his body to rush towards the longsword in his hand. In an instant, the longsword in Chen Mo's hand was covered with a trace of white frost under the filling of his internal energy. Ling. The 2 long swords collided, and Chen Mo was instantly knocked back 6 or 7 steps by a huge force. The longsword in his hand kept trembling, as if it could not withstand such a violent impact. Seeing that he had forced Chen Mo back with one move, Liu Hai couldn't help but raise his lips in triumph. "Come again!" Liu Hai shouted. Seeing this, Chen Mo's originally calm eyes finally became serious, and a fighting spirit surged in his heart. "Since we can't compete in cultivation, let's go all out." To be honest, he doesn't want to continue to play with a high school student here. If we finish it soon, he still needs to rely on wishes to continue to break through the Xiantian realm. These thoughts flashed through Chen Mo's mind like lightning. Storm sword intention. Ice water artistic conception. Rise. As Chen Mo's mind moved. In an instant, inexplicable changes occurred between heaven and earth within a 1-meter radius of Chen Mo. First, drops of tiny water droplets condensed out of thin air and surrounded Chen Mo. Then these tiny water droplets quickly condensed into sharp ice swords aimed at Liu Hai. As the water condensed into ice, an extremely cold artistic conception appeared, and Chen Mo's surroundings instantly became like snow in June, a piece of frost. But Chen Mo didn't stop. He just continued to shout coldly. "Storm!" Chen Mo slashed the air with his sword in his hand. Whoosh! Suddenly a strong wind blew. An invisible icy sword energy emanated, blowing like a storm, engulfing everything around. In the center of the storm, Chen Mo was agile and moved with his sword. Ka! There was a crisp sound. The sword that Liu Hai had just raised was directly cut off by Chen Mo's sword. He had no time to react and was defeated by Chen Mo's sword. Ling. Then the second sound rang out. This time, Han Feng appeared in front of Liu Hai in an instant and blocked Chen Mo's sword that was stabbing at Liu Hai's shoulder to prevent him from being seriously injured. Han Feng stretched out 2 fingers to clamp the tip of Chen Mo's sword to stop the tip of the sword from moving forward, but at this time, a frost quickly appeared on his fingers. Han Feng glanced at his frozen fingers, looked at Chen Mo with shocked eyes, and said excitedly, "Chen Mo, this is the sword intent you have comprehended." Originally, he thought that Chen Mo only comprehended a trace of wind-type sword intent in that class, but he didn't expect that Chen Mo actually showed more than one artistic conception today. At least he saw the artistic conception of storm, ice, and water in it. What a freak. This shocked Han Feng. In his opinion, with Chen Mo's current artistic conception potential, he can at least condense a 2nd-grade Immortal Bone, or even a 1st-grade Immortal Bone. Hearing Han Feng's question, Chen Mo nodded calmly. Yet after a simple response. "Good, very good. Chen Mo, you are really a genius." Ha ha ha. Han Feng praised and let go of the long sword, looked at Liu Hai and said calmly, "Liu Hai, are you convinced now?" It was not until this time that everyone on the field reacted. Unexpectedly, this fight was so twists and turns, after Chen Mo finally showed several artistic conceptions. Its excitement was comparable to the championship match of the high school martial arts league. Liu Hai lowered his head, his mouth twitched, and his expression showed a trace of struggle. Finally, he managed to squeeze out a slight voice. "I admit defeat." Chen Mo heard this and shook his head. He put away his long sword, walked straight to Liu Hai, and shouted coldly, "I will take the reward to accept it." Facing Chen Mo's cold tone, Liu Hai wanted to get angry, but under the gaze of everyone, facts speak louder than words, and he no longer had an excuse to say that Chen Mo relied on drugs to improve his realm. Finally, he gritted his teeth and said fiercely, "I accept it." He was unwilling. It's not enough to just accept it. Chen Mo finished speaking. Suddenly, a slap was slapped backhanded. Pa! A crisp slapping sound was heard. In an instant, Liu Hai's left face quickly became red and swollen. "You!" Liu Hai covered his left face in pain, his eyes filled with disbelief and hatred. "This slap is for Wu Yong. Of course you can also tell Du and Xianfang that I hit you. I'll take over if there's anything." After hitting him, Chen Mo looked at Han Feng with a little bit of worry and said, "Teacher Han, you blocked me twice, you don't mind if I hide him a little bit?" Hearing this, Han Feng smiled and shook his head. "Of course I don't mind, ha ha ha." Chen Mo, the teacher didn't hide him to protect Liu Hai just now, but was just worried that you couldn't control the strength and hurt his life. Han Feng explained his previous behavior of stopping Chen Mo from hitting him. "Then thank you, Teacher Han." At this point, Chen Mo's breath in his heart was completely released, and then he walked back to Wu Yong and gently patted his shoulder. Wu Yong looked at Chen Mo with some worry. "Chen Mo, thank you for avenging me, But his father seems to have a good personal relationship with teacher Duan, so we should be careful recently. Chen Mo smiled and explained. It's okay. All we need to do is set the fire and not allow the people to light the lamp. This will anger the public and Blue Star. If he didn't deal with Liu Hai at the beginning, I'm not afraid that he will come to me today. At this point, the duel between Chen Mo and Liu Hai was finally over. Su Cheng found Chen Mo with a smile on his face and handed him a copy of the Tiger Demon Bone Forging Paste that he personally rewarded. Then he encouraged Liu Hai again, and then continued to preside over the next practical assessment. The assessment order was gradually restored in the field of Class 2. In the afternoon, the final exams of the entire second grade of high school were over. All the teachers and students of the second grade of high school gathered in the playground, and the head of the grade, Yuan Yu, gave a summary speech. And just after Yuan Yu finished speaking, after the meeting, Su Cheng and Han Feng had discussed it and called Chen Mo to find Yuan Yu together. Director Yuan, I want to recommend Chen Mo from our class to participate in the Washan God Realm trial this summer. Su Cheng said a little nervously. Oh. Yuan Yu looked at Chen Mo with some surprise, and said with a smile, I know something about Chen Mo's situation. But the test of the Washan God Realm must be in the top 10 of the grade, and the realm must be the Xiantian realm. Although Chen Mo defeated Xiantian with the inner key realm, it was based on the power of artistic conception. This does not conform to the rules. After saying that, he looked at Chen Mo with a little apology. To be honest, Chen Mo did not understand what was so magical about the Washan God realm. He just listened to the two teachers' brief explanation on the way here. It is said that this is an ancient secret realm located under the ground of Blue Star that has just been deciphered. In the secret realm, it is preliminarily determined that there is an ancient inheritance, and there are many secret medicines for body and blood refining, which is very suitable for Xiantian realm to practice blood refining. It can quickly complete 5 blood refinings and cultivate high-quality immortal bones. Moreover, this secret realm can only be entered by people with cultivation below the key training stage. Therefore, the number of places is very tight. If Chen Mo had not shown his extraordinary artistic conception talent, Han Feng and Su Cheng would not have come to the school to make special applications. The novel is being tested and promoted. It is time to decide the first threshold of life and death for the newbies. Please read it as it will soon enter the next big plot. The cheat code will be used more often. It will be fun. Chapter 29, First Class Military Merit. Director, Chen Mo is a genius who has comprehended several realms of artistic conception in the inner energy realm. With his qualifications, he is very likely to cultivate a second-grade immortal bone, or even a first-grade immortal bone. Next year, there is a great hope that he will be admitted to Starry Sky University. It will be a good thing for both him and the school. I think the school can apply for a special one. Seeing this, Su Cheng suggested to Yuan Yu very seriously. Yes, Chen Mo's talent is worth getting a quota. Today's Blue Star is not short of talents who can be admitted to universities, but it lacks talents who can truly grow up and enter the foundation building and golden elixir stages. Instead of wasting the quota on some ordinary talents, it is better to make an exception and give Chen Mo a quota. At this time, Han Feng also echoed on the side. However, because he has been fighting on the front line for many years, he speaks more directly. When Yuan Yu heard the two of them say this, he was a little hesitant in his heart. In fact, he was also very optimistic about Chen Mo's talent, but the regulations of the Ministry of Education are rules. As the head of the grade of Jiangchang No. 3 Middle School, he did not have any authority or ability to break this rule. This secret realm is an ancient secret realm that has just been deciphered. In terms of resources and inheritance, it is of course the most valuable for the first batch to enter. Now, for the quota of this secret realm, the upper levels of the entire Jiangchang and surrounding schools are arguing over it. In the end, they had to make clear restrictions. You must be in the Xiantian realm and have very good grades. Jiangchang No. 3 Middle School only got these few 10 places. You know, with the number of people entering the secret realm, many Xiantian realms can't get a number, let alone let Chen Mo, who is in the Niki realm, go in. Chen Mo stood aside and listened to several teachers arguing about his own affairs, and he felt a little embarrassed. He really didn't expect that Han Feng and Su Cheng would fight for such a good opportunity for him. He has nothing to do with the two of them. These are really two selfless and good teachers. Chen Mo sighed, and felt a little warm in his heart from being cared for by the teachers. Yuan Yu thought for a moment and explained to the others, "It's not that I don't want to. The number of people who will enter the secret realm this time has already been decided. Don't mention me. It's useless even if you ask our principal." Then Yuan Yu quickly told the three people about the relevant matters of the Wuxian secret realm. After listening, Su Cheng looked at Chen Mo with regret and shook his head. At this time, Han Feng's hesitation flashed across his face. He turned his head and glanced at Chen Mo, and suddenly his expression became firm. "Old Yuan, if I use my first-class military merit in the Blood Nether battlefield, can I exchange it for this kid's qualification to enter the secret realm?" First-class military merit. Hearing this, Yuan Yu's expression was shocked. He said in surprise, "Old Han, this is a first-class military merit. Are you really willing to give it up?" Even Su Cheng next to him was weighing the pros and cons at this moment. He hesitated and still persuaded. "Yes, Mr. Han, you have to think it over carefully. First-class military merit can apply for a foundation-building opportunity. Moreover, on Blue Star, first-class military merit can not only apply for a foundation-building opportunity, but also exchange for other special privileges, which is a special honor. But the foundation-building opportunity cannot be exchanged for first-class military merit." A first-class military merit like Han Feng crawled out of a pile of dead bodies. The military medals are all stained with the blood of the enemy. It is said that Han Feng also returned to his home planet to teach in a middle school because he damaged the source of his Tao in this battle. When Chen Mo heard that Han Feng was going to use his first-class military merit to exchange for his place in the secret realm, he quickly waved his hands and said, "Teacher Han, there's no need to do this. It doesn't matter if you can't enter the secret realm of the witch god." Hearing this, Han Feng glared at Chen Mo and said, "What do you know, kid? If you can enter the secret realm of the witch god this summer vacation, you may be able to quickly advance to the innate realm, pass 5 blood refinings, and lay a superb foundation for cultivating immortals. If you miss this opportunity, it's useless to regret." After speaking, Han Feng said to Yuan Yu and Su Cheng casually, "What foundation building opportunity? I know my own body. The last injury damaged my origin and lifespan. There's no chance in this life. It's better to give this kid an opportunity and cultivate another genius from my Blue Star." Hearing this, Yuan Yu and Su Cheng were immediately in order. The soldiers fighting on the front line are different. Facing Han Feng's gaze, Yuan Yu nodded and said, "Since you have thought it through, I naturally have no objection. The first-class military merit can be exchanged for Chen Mo's qualification to enter the Wuxian God realm. I will help Chen Mo apply for the operation later." After speaking, Yuan Yu reminded Chen Mo again. "Chen Mo, you kid must not waste the opportunity that Teacher Han has given you." After getting Yuan Yu's affirmative answer, Han Feng nodded happily, turned to Chen Mo and instructed. "Chen Mo, the Wuxian God realm will be opened in 3 days. You will gather at school in the morning of 3 days. There is nothing else here, you go back and prepare well. Remember, don't think too much." After speaking, he did not forget to remind. Chen Mo nodded and bowed to Han Feng very seriously to thank him. "Thank you Teacher Han for sacrificing your first-class military merit for me. Chen Mo will repay you in the future." Then Chen Mo thanked Su Cheng and Chen Mo separately. After leaving Yuan Yu's office, Chen Mo started making a wish as soon as possible. Make a wish. I want to know how to make up for my teacher Han Feng's origin and lifespan within my current ability. Chen Mo's mind fell. The information of this world is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. After a few breaths, lines of handwriting appeared in his mind. Wish analysis, Path 1, after 256 days, go to the Dengxin Valley Mars. There is a tree of life growing in the Dengxin Valley. This tree bears fruit every 60 years, and each fruit bears 9 fruits. One fruit can replenish the origin and extend the lifespan for 15 years. Each person is limited to 2 pills. Path 2, go to the Wuxian mysterious realm, climb the 60th step of the Wuxian sex inheritance ladder, and you can choose to get the reward Wu Yandan. With this pill, you can replenish the origin and extend your life for 10 years. Then go to the Wuxian mysterious realm, the Holy Beast Mountain, and find 9 red gold ants from the Xianjiao ant lineage. With this, trade with Dan Chenzi to get a longevity pill, which can extend your life by 10 years to replenish your origin. Path 3, go to the cliff cave in the Blood Netherworld, wait for 20 years, collect 60 strands of blood cliff milk to make up for the lost origin and extend life by 60 years. Chen Mo quickly checked the paths in his mind one by one. As he looked, Chen Mo's eyes became brighter and brighter. Unexpectedly, among the many paths given to him by the Golden Finger this time, Path 2 can actually be achieved in the Wushan secret realm. This made Chen Mo feel relieved, knowing that Han Feng was using his first-class military merits that he had fought for his life to exchange for his place in the secret realm. In addition to being deeply grateful and thanking, Chen Mo also felt a sense of heaviness. Although Han Feng had no intention of doing anything for him, if he could not repay him well, Chen Mo would feel that this was a burden in his heart. After getting the news of Path 2, Han Feng looked forward to the Wushan secret realm even more. The Wushan sect inherited the latter. Wu Yandan, the red gold ant of the Xianjiao ant. All these show that the resources here are precious and rich. Maybe he can not only quickly complete the Xianshan realm here, find the elixir resources to make up for Han Feng, but also obtain the ancient inheritance. Chapter 30, Make a Wish and Learn the Escape Talisman. At the same time, maybe I can also collect some resources from my parents to prepare them to resume their cultivation. Chen Mo's parents have 5 series spiritual roots and 6 series mixed spiritual roots. Both of them barely broke through to the first level of key training, but because resources were difficult to obtain, they completely gave up the road of cultivation after giving birth to Chen Mo. Just when Chen Mo had just returned home, Ling, the phone suddenly received a message file. Chen Mo clicked it and saw that it was a message from teacher Han Feng about the Wushan secret realm. In addition to the basic introduction of the secret realm, there was also a map of the secret realm that had been explored. The second thing was to remind Chen Mo to pay attention to safety. It turned out that the Wushan secret realm was a trial place used by ancient sects to select entry-level disciples. There was an ancient formation inside, and people with key training stage and above were prohibited from entering. Now, it has been discovered that there are native creatures with key training stage strength in the secret realm. And the time to enter the secret realm this time is 1 month, so you must be careful after entering. In addition, Han Feng also told Chen Mo that the secret realm is blocked by the existence of prohibitions that cut off all signals. At present, all electronic equipment on Blue Star will lose its function in the secret realm. There are more than 100 people entering the secret realm this time, and the personnel are relatively complicated. If you encounter a fight in the secret realm, you should put your own safety first. Han Feng reminded Chen Mo to try to walk with the students of Jiangcheng No. 3 Middle School to reduce some unnecessary troubles. After reading the information sent by Han Feng, Chen Mo's heart moved. Not to mention the threats of the native creatures in the key training period in the secret realm. Even the companions this time may be competitors in the Wushan secret realm. It seems that the danger of this secret realm is not small. How can I ensure my safety and find the target everywhere? Chen Mo thought and planned in his heart. Gan. Everything is uncertain, just make a wish. Make a wish. I want to know how dangerous it is to enter the Wushan secret realm within my current ability. Chen Mo's mind fell. The information of this world is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. After a few breaths, 3 simple lines of handwriting appeared in his mind. Path 1, 10 deaths and no life. Path 2, 9 deaths and 1 life. Path 3, a close call. Fuck. Chen Mo was a little speechless. This hint is equivalent to no hint. Chen Mo thought about it and figured out that it was his own problem. It turned out that the way he made a wish this time was not quite right. Strictly speaking, only if he made a specific wish, the system would give him a specific and feasible way to fulfill his wish. Asking about the danger alone is not a specific goal. After thinking it over, Chen Mo began to make a wish again. I want to know how to safely get the Wu Yandan and the red gold ant from the Wushan secret realm, and obtain the top inheritance of the Wushan sect. As Chen Mo's thoughts fell, the information of this world is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. A complex information quickly flooded into his mind. Way 1, learn the escape talisman within 3 days, and draw 10 first-level escape talismans, and go to the Wanbao Pavilion to buy more than 3 beast taming rings, buy 3 Ding Shen Dan for backup, and 9 Quenching Dan, take 1 pill every day when breaking through the inheritance ladder to meet the body refining requirements, to pass the 99th level of the inheritance ladder to obtain the top inheritance of the Wushan sect. Way 2, within 1 day, go to Wanbao Pavilion to order a spiritual pet in the perfect foundation building realm, and spend 10,000 spiritual stones to buy a forbidden pill and give it to the spiritual pet before entering the secret realm, and ask Jindan's Henrin to carve a forbidden talisman on the spiritual pet. After entering the secret realm, Tear off the talisman, and with the help of the spiritual pet, you can fulfill your wish. Way 3. Within 1 day, go to the Nanshanman of the Blue Star Zuchen to wait for a secluded wandering monk dressed as a beggar. Show him the ice water realm you have comprehended, give him the divine intention of the vast sea of glaciers, and know the wandering monk a cause and effect request for help. You can fulfill your wish. This time, it took Chen Mo 3 minutes to completely digest the information of the path in his mind. Chen Mo was excited when he saw this. 3 ways. Chen Mo thought that the first path was the least expensive and most likely to be achieved. The second path was too expensive. The spiritual stones he had were far from enough. He needed to find a way to earn enough spiritual stones within 3 days. Although he would eventually get a spiritual pet with a perfect foundation, it would expose his abnormality and cause unknown troubles. The third path, Chen Mo thought about it. It was simple, but he would lose the intention of the vast sea glacier god and owe a cause and effect. This was what Chen Mo was most reluctant to do. The way of cultivating immortals was the most important cause and effect. Who knows how the wandering monk would ask him to pay it back in the future. In the end, Chen Mo still chose the first path to complete it. However, if he chose the first path, his time would be very tight. He had to learn the escape talisman within 3 days and draw 10 first-level escape talismans. He also had to buy the pens, ink, paper, ink stones, and elixirs for making talismans. Even with the help of the system, the time was very tight. As long as there was a problem in one link, it might fail. Chen Mo now had a feeling that time was running out. Later, as his cultivation level improved and he entered the level of immortal cultivation, he wanted to use the system to quickly strengthen himself. He might need to spend more time and energy to complete the requirements of the system. If at this time, there was a group of reliable people to help him deal with these chores, this would save him a lot of time. This time, the system not only gave him a way to fulfill his wish, but also began to let Chen Mo feel the vastness and magnificence of the real immortal cultivation world. A perfect spiritual beast in the foundation-building realm. Sealing pills, sealing talismans. A mysterious wandering monk who can ignore the restrictions of the secret realm. Cause and effect. These were all mysteries that he had only seen in books in the past, but now as long as he chooses Path 2 and Path 3, he will inevitably come into contact with these. It seems that his progress in setting up his own laboratory has to be accelerated. Thinking of this, Chen Mo immediately took out the animal skin scroll that recorded the escape talisman that he had obtained from Teo Bao in the market. The mysterious talisman that was passed down from the Green Talisman Sutra, written by the Talisman Emperor of the Blood Netherworld 100,000 years ago. After getting this escape talisman, Chen Mo spent some time studying it, especially when studying the 6 arts. Chen Mo paid special attention to the content of talisman making. Chen Mo took out a broken animal skin scroll, carefully compared the ancient symbols on it, and tried his best to understand less than 1/20th of the principle of talisman engraving. The talisman making and drawing of the 6 arts of immortal cultivation also takes the essence of heaven and earth. Drawing talismans is to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, condense the power of the cultivator's mind, and form the source of magical spells. It requires talisman drawing paper, ink, and pen tip, and subtle coordination to draw various talismans. Every stroke of the talisman is also in harmony with heaven and earth, so you have to learn to draw talismans. First, you must understand the principle and meaning of this talisman. Second, constantly practice engraving. And third, reach the level of cultivation and mind required by the talisman. Chapter 31, The Escape Talisman is completed, entering the secret realm. Chen Mo frowned unconsciously when he saw the animal skin scroll with the Dunkong talisman in his hand. He kept thinking. The 3 requirements were difficult for him to achieve in a short period of time. It seems that he still has to rely on the system. Make a wish. I want to know how to learn to draw the Dunkong talisman within 3 days and make 10 first-level Dunkong talismans. This world information is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. Path 1. Find Master Shen Shi Talisman Maker in the Blue Star Ancestor City and give him the Dunkong talisman. The condition is to teach him how to carve the Dunkong talisman, and Master Shen Shi will draw 10 first-level Dunkong talismans and deliver them to you. Path 2. Spend 10 library points to go to the library to learn the minutes of Kongming Talisman, Shipping Talisman and Zhenyu Talisman, and enter the metaverse 100 times the time, repeatedly comprehend the principles and techniques of these 3 talismans, and practice carving the Dunkong talisman in the 100 times virtual space. After digesting the information in his mind, Chen Mo sighed. There are 2 paths, but fortunately, Path 2 can be completed. However, it seems that his own library points are not enough, so he can only borrow it from Wu Yuang first. Then Chen Mo contacted Wu Yuang, borrowed library points from him, and began to prepare to buy the minutes and insights of Empty Dark Talisman, 10 Directions Talisman and Prison Talisman to enter the metaverse to study. On the way, Chen Mo sorted out the things he knew he needed to prepare through making a wish. First, the talisman paper, talisman pen, and spiritual ink for drawing the escape talisman, and then the calming pill, body quenching pill, and the beast controlling ring that can control living things to obtain the inheritance of the secret realm. After thinking about it, Chen Mo felt that when he arrived in the secret realm, he must have a larger storage space, otherwise the resources he obtained would not be stored and would be easily coveted by others. After thinking about everything he needed to prepare and making a list, Chen Mo directly called Zhou Yan and asked her to help buy all of them and give them to him. Fearing that the spiritual coins were not enough, Chen Mo also transferred almost all of his spiritual coins to her. After communicating with Zhou Yan, Chen Mo went directly to Jiangchang Library, which was closer to home. After spending 10 library credits, Chen Mo successfully bought the Empty Dark Talisman, 10 Directions Talisman and Prison Suppression Talisman Perception Notes. Then he found a nutrition cabin in the library and lay down directly in it, and began to enter the metaverse to comprehend and practice the escape talisman. This is the convenience of scientific cultivation today. People can directly enter the virtual metaverse world through their spirits to practice time acceleration. This is equivalent to having an extra time accelerator. Except that the physical strength cannot be improved synchronously, the spiritual perception can be practiced freely in the metaverse according to one's own mental tolerance. However, after the human spirit is connected to the metaverse, the intense mental activity will also consume a lot of body energy. Therefore, it is necessary to lie in the nutrition cabin to enter the metaverse. The nutrition cabin will automatically release the nutrient solution needed by the human body according to the state of human life fluctuations to maintain the stability of life spirit. The only limitation is that each time the metaverse time acceleration is used, a lot of library credits are required. In the metaverse, in a quiet talisman making room, Chen Mo read the perception notes of Empty Dark Talisman, 10 Directions Talisman and Prison Suppression Talisman over and over again. The notes of these talismans all involve the use of space. Soft white light rippled on his body. Chen Mo quickly immersed himself in the perception of space talismans under 100 times time acceleration. As his perception deepened, he gradually associated and understood many rune principles of Dunkong Mansion. Then, he gradually entered into the mystery of refining a technique, and constantly tried to practice carving Dunkong talismans. Errors, corrections, improvements, errors, and improvements again. Until he gradually mastered the talisman-making technique of Dunkong talismans. Dunkong talismans are space escape talismans, like earth escape talismans and water escape talismans. Using spiritual power to burn talismans, you can directly use the power of space to disappear. The specific time and distance of disappearance depends on the level of the talisman. And Dunkong talismans are different from other talismans. Its special feature is that the level of the talismans carved out is different with the different cultivation of the talisman master. For example, Chen Mo was only at the inner energy realm. After exhausting his inner energy, he could barely draw first-grade low-grade escape talisman. Time passed slowly. After Chen Mo didn't know how much time he had spent, he finally successfully drew an escape talisman in the metaverse. At the moment of success, Chen Mo couldn't wait to activate the inner energy in his body that contained the spiritual power of heaven and earth to ignite the talisman. Shua. As the talisman turned into burning spiritual light. In an instant, Chen Mo's figure disappeared in the room. No shadow, no trace, no breath, no trace. It was not until 2/4 of an hour later. The effect of the escape talisman disappeared completely, and Chen Mo appeared. Awesome. After feeling the effect of this talisman, Chen Mo couldn't help but sigh. It really deserves to be the inheritance of the Emperor of Talismans. With this talisman in hand, it is simply a magical weapon for killing people, seizing treasures, and escaping far away. No matter you are a congenital genius, or a native key training creature. Which god mystery realm? Here I come. Chen Mo's eyes flashed with excitement. Huh? He let out a long breath, and after a few breaths he suppressed his excitement. He didn't expect that the first thing he learned in the 6 arts of cultivating immortals was to make talismans. But don't be happy yet, this is just practicing in the virtual space. Next, after being proficient in it hundreds of times, he will portray it in reality. When Chen Mo came out of the library, 2 days had passed. In other words, he had actually practiced in the metaverse for 200 days. It's not easy. Chen Mo looked at the time on his mobile phone and sighed. There was only 1 day left. Chen Mo quickly contacted Zhou Yan to send all the things he wanted. 10 minutes later, Zhou Yan rushed to Chen Mo's place. Seeing Chen Mo, she couldn't help but ask in surprise. "Boss, what are you doing, buying so many things at one time?" As she said, she handed Chen Mo a storage wrist. "Here, the things are all here, check them out. But the things you want this time are too expensive. You've spent all the spirit stones I gave me, and I've even paid you 800,000 spirit coins." Upon hearing this, Chen Mo hurriedly thanked him. "Thank you, Sister Zhou. I'll pay you back together next time, and I'll definitely not let you suffer a loss," Chen Mo said as he identified the storage wrist and opened it to check. Talisman paper, talisman pen, spirit ink, calming pills, body quenching pills, beast taming ring, first level optical magnetic pistol, and some commonly used repair supplies. Hey, the black broken sword. Zhou Yan also got this treasure back for him. This guy is very capable. He's really worthy of being the person the system has chosen. Zhou Yan saw Chen Mo's satisfied look from the side. It was her first time helping Chen Mo with something, and she was also worried that she hadn't done it well. Seeing Chen Mo satisfied, she breathed a sigh of relief and said with a smile, "No need to thank me, now I am your employee, your subordinate, it's good enough to satisfy the boss." After Chen Mo finished the inspection, he smiled and replied to Zhou Yan's question, explaining, "Haha. This time I will go to a secret realm for a month of trial. I will give you the spiritual coins you paid in advance. In addition, during this month, you should pay attention to any reliable manpower, which may be of great use when I come out." After saying that, Chen Mo simply greeted him, and then hurried back to the library, rented a practice room and began to draw the escape talisman. A day later, Chen Mo dragged his tired body and finally completed the drawing of 10 first-level escape talismans. At the last moment, he boarded the special train to the mysterious realm of the witch god in the inner world of the earth. Chapter 32, Geniuses Gather, Artistic Conception Clashes. The entrance to the Wushan mysterious realm is located in Kunlun Mountain, which is known as the ancestor of all mountains in Blue Star, in a valley in the southwest. Because this secret realm was discovered and cracked by a Yuanying master born in Jiangcheng. At the request of the master, the first batch of people to enter the secret realm must be students and geniuses from Jiangcheng and the surrounding areas. This is also the rule formulated by the Blue Star Federation. There are many corresponding priority rights for those who discover and crack the secret realm in Blue Star for the first time. Because Kunlun Mountain is about 3,400 kilometers away from Jiangcheng. With the express train that Chen Mo and his friends took, it takes about 7 hours to arrive at a speed of 500 kilometers per hour. In the train, more than 180 geniuses from various schools in Jiangcheng and the surrounding areas either closed their eyes and sat in meditation or talked in a low voice, but no matter what they were doing, they all revealed a sense of spirit and confidence. Most of them formed a circle with their familiar classmates and schools. There are 10 people in the Xianshan realm in Jiangcheng No. 3 Middle School, and Song Yihan and Li Wu from Class 2 took up 2 places. Class 1 has 8 students, and 4 of them are students who have just transferred to Class 1 of No. 3 Middle School. It goes without saying that these students are either second-generation officials or second-generation rich people. Their families use their connections to get them to Jiangcheng No. 3 Middle School to occupy the quota. Chen Mo didn't care about this at all. After saying hello to Song Yihan and Li Wu, he chose a corner and began to meditate with his eyes closed. For Chen Mo, who was originally at the bottom of the class but suddenly rose to prominence, Song Yihan's bright eyes flashed with a hint of complexity and curiosity. However, her temperament was relatively cold. If Chen Mo was not in her class and used the quota exchanged for Han Feng's first-class military merit, she might not even look at him. As for Li Wu, he was even more of a taciturn martial arts fanatic. Not long after Chen Mo sat down, suddenly, he felt that not far away from him, a fierce and hot fire state of mind was released in the train, as if a ball of fire suddenly burned in the train. Then, the students sitting opposite him also showed a heavy and tolerant artistic conception. The two of them were staring at each other with eyes wide open, holding back their energy. Chen Mo glanced at the other person indifferently, then retracted his gaze. With his 20-year-old soul, it was really boring to watch the battle of righteousness between these high school students. Those who could sit here were all true geniuses, so naturally, they all looked very arrogant, and no one would give in to the other. Perhaps a wrong look, or perhaps they deliberately stimulated their own artistic conception to test the other's strength. You have to know that these people in the carriage are all competitors in the secret realm. Chen Mo didn't need to intervene in the fight between the students. He closed his eyes silently, preparing to secretly visualize the Storm Sword prison to strengthen his sword intent. After Chen Mo entered the Storm Sword intention, with the help of the calming pill, he comprehended the Storm Sword intention faster and faster. But the wind wants to be quiet, but the tree does not stop. As the two students' ki clashed, the other people in the carriage were stimulated by this and had to show their artistic conception and innate realm cultivation to resist. For a while, one after another, sharp innate auras clashed with each other in the carriage. This action was also a preliminary judgment of everyone's strength. Later, even those who had been sitting quietly and not wanting to cause trouble also spontaneously participated. At this moment, stimulated by the aura, Chen Mo, who was originally sitting quietly in the corner, frowned. He had to give up the idea of visualizing the sword intent and use the internal energy of his whole body to resist the pressure. Huh? There is actually another person in the inner energy realm in this carriage. As the aura clashed and the artistic conception collided, everyone soon realized that Chen Mo was special. You must know that most of the people present had gone through countless efforts and defeated their opponents with their own talents to get the quota for this secret realm. And Chen Mo was only in the inner energy realm, but he could sit with them and participate in the secret realm. Why? Is he a relative of some big boss? For a while, in addition to the students of Jiangchang No. 3 Middle School, some people began to speculate curiously about Chen Mo's identity. Some people even began to despise, disdain, and hostile Chen Mo in their hearts. It was an insult to the phoenixes for a chicken to mix into the phoenix group. No one was stupid enough to humiliate Chen Mo in public, but they secretly remembered Chen Mo. However, after discovering that Chen Mo only had the inner energy realm, no one dared to attack Chen Mo in public, but some people secretly couldn't help but want to test Chen Mo's quality. At Jiangchang No. 1 Middle School, Xiao Taming was the student who first released the fiery realm. When he found that Chen Mo had only used the inner energy realm to resist the surrounding aura, a frivolous and dark look flashed in his eyes. HMPH, pretending to be deep. Let me see what you have to sit here side by side with us. He suddenly controlled his fiery realm with a wisp of innate energy, condensed a wisp of crimson flame and burned towards Chen Mo's body. A hot breath approached. Suddenly, Chen Mo sensed a dangerous breath coming. This scorching heat is endless, and it cannot be resisted by people of the same realm or innate realm. This is already considered a move against him. Chen Mo's eyes, which were originally slightly closed, suddenly opened and scolded coldly. Get lost. Chen Mo gave Xiao Taming a cold look. Then he sent out a blast of ice storm sword intent, instantly extinguishing the opponent's crimson flame, and leaving a sword intent in Xiao Taming's mind. Artistic realm is connected to the mind, and Chen Mo's sword strikes on Xiao Taming's artistic conception, which is equivalent to striking on his mind. Xiao Taming endured this sword, and couldn't help but groan, and then his face suddenly turned pale. He had already suffered a slight mental injury. Seeing this, Xiao Taming dared not be careless anymore, and quickly put away his artistic conception, turned his head and looked at Chen Mo deeply. And the scene was noticed by the accompanying teacher in another compartment from beginning to end. A series of discussions rang out in the closed compartment. Qin Mang, the quota that Han Feng sacrificed his first-class military merit in exchange for was given to that kid, right? After this confrontation, the rest of the journey was relatively quiet. Chen Mo took a calming pill and has been concentrating on visualizing the sword intent. After this brief battle of ki, Chen Mo began to plan in his heart. After arriving at the secret realm, he would have a better advantage if he broke through the Xiantian realm first. Then he would go to find the blood refining resources and the red gold ants. As for the inheritance of the Wushan sect, he would fight for the inheritance after breaking through the Xiantian realm. The message sent by teacher Han Feng said that the people who had tried to decipher the secret realm before said that it was difficult to break through the 50th level of the inheritance ladder, and he was not afraid that the inheritance would be taken away by others. More than 7 hours later, Chen Mo and his team successfully arrived at a valley hidden in the primitive dense forest at the foot of Kunlun Mountain. Now that the Blue Star spiritual vein has been activated and revived, in the dense forest valley, a thick breath surged from the ground. Complex shrubs and towering giant trees stood around the valley. Various vigorous and strange vines crisscrossed on the ancient trees, and they climbed in all directions, like a ferocious blade. Around the valley forest, some rare and outdated animals and plants also appeared in the forest, proving the awakening of the breath here in an unquestionable way. Soon, Chen Mo and his companions, led by their accompanying teacher, arrived at the center of the valley. The center of the valley was a flat depression with a complex formation carved on it. An ordinary-looking old man in his 60s or 70s was squatting next to the formation. The accompanying teacher of the third middle school was Tan Meng, the head teacher of Class 1. Chen Mo saw that after Tan Meng and other teachers arrived at the valley, they all saluted respectfully when they saw the old man. "Hello, Mr. Yi." Seeing this, Chen Mo and his companions did not dare to ask more questions, and hurriedly followed the teachers to salute and greet. "Hello, Senior Yi." At this time, the old man called Mr. Yi stretched out his hand and gently pointed, and several rays of light hit the nodes of the formation. Then Mr. Yi glanced at everyone and said calmly, "The formation has been activated. You can enter the secret realm by standing on it. Everything you gain in the secret realm depends on your own means and fate. Go ahead." Thanks to Lay's Myth 2, the monthly votes of the reader with the last number .3938, and the support of the hidden romance from the first day of publication, the author is a newcomer and lacks a lot of experience. He is also working hard to learn and correct it. I read everyone's comments carefully. I hope you will collect and support me. Chapter 33 Six-Leaf Cold Lotus. Chen Mo stepped in the formation on the ground. Instantly, he felt a slight tearing sensation in his body, as if he was passing through a space tunnel and being pulled by something. After a few seconds, Chen Mo's feeling disappeared. At this time, he was already standing on a huge stone platform several hundred feet wide. This is a secret realm that looks very much like the legendary prehistoric world. In this strange secret realm, there is rich spiritual energy, wild breath, huge and majestic mountains, and giant trees everywhere. It seems that there is a raging wildness everywhere. Chen Mo stood here, as if he could feel the difficulty and powerlessness of breathing. The huge mountains stand between heaven and earth, depicting the traces of time and the marks of tearing. Connecting the stone platform where Chen Mo stood is a long mountain road paved with bluestone leading to the distance. This is the mysterious realm of the witch god. Everyone standing on the stone platform looked at the scene in front of them in shock, and a sense of insignificance arose spontaneously. Then, each of their eyes was filled with determination and desire. Coming to this secret realm that has been silent for who knows how many years is far more real than the feeling from the information. I am afraid that the opportunities and dangers here are far beyond their expectations. But the opportunities of the innate realm, blood refining pass, and immortal bone casting can definitely be found here, allowing them to quickly leave the geniuses of the same age behind. After looking around for a few times, Chen Mo quickly took out the map of the secret realm and compared it with the markings on it to determine the direction. According to the information, if you go north along this mountain road, you will encounter the inheritance ladder of the Wushan mysterious realm. The mountains to the east of the Wushan mysterious realm have been found to have many secret medicines that can be used to refine blood. To the west are many dangerous and fierce places and beasts and creatures that are comparable to the limit of key training. As for the Holy Beast Mountain that Chen Mo is looking for, it is not marked on the map. But he is not in a hurry about it. In this secret realm, not only must he be careful of the dangers of the native beasts and creatures in the secret realm, but he must also be careful to guard against these genius students around him. Don't be anxious when doing things, and be cautious in everything. Let's break through the Xianshan realm first. There is no monitoring by federal technology equipment here. As long as no one knows, killing a person is as easy as killing a chicken. Chen Mo looked up and found that the students around him were already wary of each other 2 minutes later. All the more than 180 people who entered the secret realm this time arrived. Next, everyone gathered together for a brief discussion and began to act. Looking at the figures leaving in 2s and 3s. There were only a few people left on the stone platform. Song Yihan walked up to Chen Mo and Li Wu and said carefully, "Li Wu, Chen Mo, there are only 3 of us in our class. Will you go with me next, or will you go on your own?" Li Wu thought for a while and said, I want to go to the inheritance place first. If we are going together, we can go together. Song Yihan nodded and turned his eyes to Chen Mo. What about you, Chen Mo? Chen Mo knew that Song Yihan's question was actually a kind of care for the two of them. After all, the innate genius with two spiritual roots of Feng Shui is the strongest among the three in terms of strength. But Chen Mo had already made a plan, so he smiled and declined. Thank you for your kindness, class leader. I want to look around first, so I won't go with you. In response, Song Yihan nodded gently. Okay, then be careful. When you come to this secret realm, you have to be responsible for your own choices. She was originally a cold person who devoted herself to the Tao, and she was not very familiar with Chen Mo. Since Chen Mo insisted, she didn't say much. After speaking, Song Yihan signaled to Li Wu with her eyes, and then stepped along the stone path and left. Looking at the figure that disappeared quickly in the distance, Chen Mo looked around and sighed. It's a good place, but it's a pity that there is not so much time to explore. Let's break through the Xianshan realm first. After speaking, Chen Mo's mind fell. Make a wish. I want to know how to break through the Xianshan realm in the shortest time in the Wushan secret realm. As Chen Mo's mind fell, the information of this world is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. A stream of information instantly flooded into his mind. Route 1. 21 miles east of here, there is a holy beast mountain shaped like a white tiger. At the foot of the holy beast mountain, there is a cold pond about 30 feet wide. In the cold pond, there grows a 6-petal cold lotus that absorbs the spiritual energy and coldness of heaven and earth. Within 2 days, rush here to eat the cold lotus and visualize the divine intention of the vast sea and glacier to achieve a perfect state of mind and be promoted to perfect innate state. Route 2. 50 miles west of here, there is a cold river. Under the river lurks a second-level anaconda. Kill the anaconda, take its 500-year-old inner elixir, and swallow it to realize the true meaning of controlling water and be promoted to perfect innate state. Path 3. 21 miles east of here, there is a holy beast mountain shaped like a white tiger. On the east side of the holy beast mountain, there lives a group of first-level spirit monkeys. This group of spirit monkeys collects water from the cold pool at the bottom of the mountain, 700 years of rock peaches on the top of the holy beast mountain, fruits of hundreds of flowers, and morning dew in the mountains. After 100 years of natural brewing, this spirit monkey wine is hidden in the stone cave behind the monkeys. Eating it can help people understand the Tao, quickly comprehend the artistic conception, comprehend the Tao, and perfectly promote to the innate. After reading the handwriting that appeared in his mind, I didn't expect that the location of Path 1 is my target of the Holy Beast Mountain. Chen Mo looked excited. Sure enough, this secret realm is not simple. 6-leaf cold lotus, 100-year spirit monkey wine. It is simply a treasure tailor-made for him. As for Path 2, it was directly ruled out by Chen Mo. The second-level anaconda is a monster comparable to the foundation building period. If you want to hunt its inner elixir, it is no easier than finding a piece of tofu and killing it. Moreover, the information given by the school before said that there are native creatures in the key training period here. It seems that the people who first explored the secret realm did not find that there were not only key training creatures, but also foundation building creatures. Judging from the information revealed in the second path, Chen Mo couldn't help but pray carefully in his heart, hoping that there would be no native creatures of the Golden Core Master here, otherwise he would die if he accidentally encountered one. Maybe all the students who entered the secret realm would be wiped out. Chen Mo secretly reminded himself in his heart. Path 1 seemed to be safe, but he could go to Path 2 after he broke through the Xianshan realm. Before Xianshan, he couldn't run away when facing a first-level spirit monkey. When he broke through the Xianshan realm, plus the state of mind of Dachin, he should be able to escape from the hands of cultivators below the 5th level of key training in terms of combat power. Soon, Chen Mo made a decision in his heart and started to rush to the Holy Beast Mountain. The distance of 21 miles is not far or close. But this is a wild secret realm. There are no directional tools, no path, deep mountains and dense forests, and it is very likely to go in the wrong direction. If you encounter a creature in the key training stage, it will be even harder to say. With a cautious mentality, Chen Mo stepped into the dense forest step by step, looking for the Holy Beast Mountain in the east that looked like a white tiger. One day later, after experiencing several dangers of being attacked by fierce beasts, Chen Mo used a flight talisman and finally came to the cold pond mentioned by the system. The White Tiger Mountain is shaped like a crouching tiger. There is a gentle stone platform at the foot of the mountain where the front paws of the White Tiger Mountain are located. Below the stone platform is a bottomless cold pond. The water in the pond is as quiet as a mirror, flashing a faint cold light, which makes people shudder. Reflected in the center of the bottom of the water is a nearly 2-foot-tall cold lotus. The 6 leaves of the cold lotus are covered with cold frost, which reminds people of the severe frozen rime. As the breeze blows, the cold lotus slowly sways in the water. Chen Mo stood by the pond and looked from a distance. There were strange flower buds, faintly visible in the middle of the tender green petals of the cold lotus. It seems that it is not yet time to bloom. Finally found you. Chen Mo excitedly came to the edge of the pond and estimated the distance to the cold lotus, then reached out to touch the temperature of the water. Well, the water is cold and bleak. But with the inner key realm true key and ice water artistic conception in his body, it should be enough for me to take the cold lotus back and forth. After thinking about it, Chen Mo took action directly and dived into the cold pond. He quickly picked the cold lotus and swam back to the shore. Tisk, tisk, tisk. After getting the cold lotus, Chen Mo was so cold that he couldn't help but shiver several times. Fortunately, after Chen Mo activated the strong key and blood in his body, this situation was quickly alleviated. Now I can finally start to break through the Xiantian realm. Chapter 34, Breaking Through the Realm of Innateness, 9 Rings of the Heaven Gate. Chen Mo took the 6-leaf cold lotus and found a flat and secluded place near the cold pond, ready to start swallowing and refining. It has been more than a week since he refined the 100 herbs pill and broke through to the inner key realm. Now, as long as he absorbs the cold lotus in his hand, he can reach the artistic conception and break through the perfect innate. It is impossible not to be excited. Ordinary people cannot comprehend the artistic conception. To break through the innate, they can only rely on their own innate true key to cleanse the body's key and meridians, so the quality of the immortal bones born is generally ordinary immortal bones of the 4th or 5th grade. It is equivalent to the appearance of the 4th or 5th spiritual root. Geniuses rely on comprehending the artistic conception. After comprehending the true meaning of heaven and earth, breaking through the gate of heaven and breaking through to the innate realm will gather the majestic true meaning of heaven and earth into the body to help the innate true key to cleanse the body and transform. The quality of the immortal bones born in this case is often much higher. But the difference between the initial entry into the artistic conception, the small success of the artistic conception, and the great success of the artistic conception is also very large. Although after breaking through the innate, you can continue to comprehend the artistic conception before the birth of the immortal bone, but the effect will be much smaller. If you break through the innate realm when you first enter the artistic conception, you will have the opportunity to condense the 4th grade immortal bone, or even the 3rd grade later. If you break through the artistic conception with a small success, you will have the hope of condensing the 3rd grade, or even the 2nd grade immortal bone. If you break through the artistic conception with a great success, you will have a great hope of condensing the 2nd grade or 1st grade immortal bone. At this level, the artistic conception has already had the influence on the immortal bone to the limit, so there is no need to demand the perfection of the artistic conception before breaking through the innate realm. The remaining influence depends on the foundation of the blood refining barrier behind the innate true key. This is also the reason why Chen Mo suppressed the realm before and did not break through. However, this operation is only available to true geniuses and people like Chen Mo who have plugins. Some people are not talented enough, and it is useless to suppress the realm for a long time. If you can't comprehend the artistic conception, you can't comprehend it. It is better to break through the innate realm in time, and then the chance of comprehending the artistic conception may be greater. This effect may not be as good as the former, but it is worse than not having a strong artistic conception. For example, like Liu Hai before. When you reach the perfect state of internal key, you can break through directly on the spot and use the transformation pill to advance to the innate realm. This was because he was unwilling to lose to Chen Mo at that time, but it was also a judgment of his own cognitive choice. At this moment, Chen Mo's mind emerged with the 108 body tempering techniques and the perception of many artistic conceptions. At this moment, the 129,600 key channels in his body had already been flowing like a surging river. First, strengthen the artistic conception. Chen Mo decided. He immediately tore off a leaf of cold lotus and swallowed it one bite at a time. The tender green petals were torn off and bitten into the mouth. As Chen Mo chewed, they quickly turned into a stream of cold and clear juice that flowed into Chen Mo's stomach. Boom! At this moment, Chen Mo's spirit was instantly sublimated. He felt as if he had turned into a cold lotus, growing alone in this wide cold pond. Every day, relying on instinct, it absorbed the spiritual energy between heaven and earth and the traces of water spirit energy in the depths of the cold pond. In this company of the sun and the moon, the company of water, and the mutual blending of water spirit energy, its body began to grow slowly. The wind stirred the water, and the fallen leaves in the cold pond caused ripples. The mountain spirits and wild beasts reached into the cold pond to draw water, hitting the waves and breaking the calmness of the water's surface. The fish chased each other in the water, causing the underwater surge. He felt the still water running deep, the invisible water, the impermanence of water. The changes of water. Morning and sunset, spring, summer, autumn and winter. The spring rain fell on the lake like the tenderness of fine water, and the vitality was endless. The summer rain hit the lake like the passion of water, and the waves were turbulent. The autumn rain lingered on the lake like a myriad of threads, and the waves were continuous. The winter rain was cold and froze the lake like a cold sword and frost, freezing everything. Endless vitality, turbulent waves, continuous waves, and freezing everything. Chen Mo turned into a cold lotus and saw the power of water. 1 year, 10 years, 100 years. Day after day, year after year. He is the six-leaf cold lotus, and the cold lotus is him. The power of water, heavy water, extreme cold, condensed, sharp, extremely cold, extremely icy, and extremely condensed. The changes of water are boundless, endless, invisible, impermanent, and immeasurable. Water transforms everything, and is extremely yin and extremely soft. At this moment, countless insights into the artistic conception of ice and water poured into Chen Mo's mind and were quickly absorbed and digested by him. Whenever this perception was about to weaken, he would tear off a leaf of cold lotus and put it in his mouth to continue to comprehend. He had never had such a clear understanding of the artistic conception as he did now. Chen Mo felt that he had transformed into the artistic conception of ice and water at this moment. Even if you had used the Yangshen incense before and the effect of visualizing the Hanhe Glacier map was not as good as 100th. Moreover, these insights quickly turned into Chen Mo's own artistic conception, and quickly merged and grew with his original artistic conception of ice and water. He was making progress and transforming every moment. The peak of the artistic conception of a small success. Time passed unknowingly. 2 days later, Chen Mo was awakened by a fierce fight in the distance. He opened his eyes and found that there were more than a dozen people fighting on the mountain path not far away. It seemed that some people were blocking the entrance to the mountain and did not want others to go up the mountain. Chen Mo just observed it for a while and ignored it. No matter who it was or what happened, it couldn't stop him from comprehending the artistic conception and breaking through the innate. The people at the foot of the mountain in the distance had already discovered Chen Mo, but after seeing that he had been sitting here without moving, they ignored him. However, if they had come a few days ago, they would probably have discovered the six-leaf cold lotus. This may also be the reason why the first path requires him to eat the six-leaf cold lotus within 2 days. A few days have passed since entering the secret realm. At this time, more than 180 people who entered the Wushan's secret realm have quickly scattered around the secret realm to look for opportunities. Chen Mo retracted his gaze, tore off a lotus leaf to gather his mind, and continued to comprehend the artistic conception. Small success is complete, artistic conception is complete. Until the last leaf of cold lotus was eaten by Chen Mo. His ice-water artistic conception finally broke through to the artistic conception of complete success. Chen Mo slowly opened his eyes clear and firm. His ice-water artistic conception has reached a new height, and he felt the depth of ice-water artistic conception that he had never experienced before. As he slowly raised his right hand, a mysterious aura slowly emerged, and the artistic conception of ice and water quickly enveloped the area of 3 meters around him. Artistic realm. Breakthrough. Innate realm. As Chen Mo's words fell in his heart, the true energy in his body rotated along the 5th level of the 108 body tempering techniques. In an instant, the position of the heavenly gate, which was originally a little vague and looming, appeared clearly in front of his mind. Today I will break through the heavenly gate. Congratulations. Suddenly, Chen Mo's body was filled with an endless fighting spirit, like a sword shooting into the sky. Bang! The true energy in Chen Mo's body suddenly hit the heavenly gate like a confluence of thousands of rivers. Bang! A knocking sound like a huge bell was knocked. Crack! The heavy heavenly gate in Chen Mo's body was quickly cracked open. The difficulty of breaking through the heavenly gate in the innate realm is closely related to one's martial arts foundation. The stronger the foundation of martial arts, the more difficult it will be to break through, but after the breakthrough, the more benefits the innate true ki will bring to the body. It is recorded in the Blue Star Federal Library that the most monstrous genius breakthrough in history is the 9 rings of the heavenly gate. Boom. Second ring. Chen Mo saw the heavenly gate, which was as thick as a city wall, being cracked again by his true ki. As thick as a mountain. Break it again. His eyes flashed with fighting spirit. Boom. The third loud sound of a huge bell came. Then, boom, boom, boom. 3 more loud sounds came in succession. 6 rings of the heavenly gate. The heavy heavenly gate had been opened by Chen Mo. At this time, his body had begun to connect with the heaven and the earth, and a stream of wonderful heaven and earth artistic conception quickly penetrated into Chen Mo's body along the crack of the heavenly gate. Not enough. Great artistic conception, ice, water, storm sword intent, cold ice true ki. Break. Chen Mo flashed a firm will in his heart. Boom, boom, boom. Finally, 3 more loud and clear sounds rang out. The cracked gate of heaven in Chen Mo's body was completely opened by the true ki mixed with the power of artistic conception in his body, and turned into endless Deo essence and settled in his body. Boom. A torrent of heaven and earth artistic conception of ice, water, and storm sword intent instantly rushed into Chen Mo's body, quickly cleansing his body. 9 rings of the gate of heaven. Break the innate realm. Equal the highest record in history. Heaven and earth came to congratulate. This was the fortune of heaven and earth. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35, Blood Ganoderma Clues, Stealing Wine. As the artistic conception of heaven and earth entered his body, Chen Mo felt that his body was undergoing subtle changes all the time. With a casual move, he condensed a ball of cold innate true ki in his hand, and at this time, the innate true ki in his body was endless. Chen Mo had a very powerful feeling. The innate realm was finally achieved. If it were placed in the martial arts world, it would be a complete innate master. From the time he traveled here to now, from the small middle stage of bone forging to the current innate, Chen Mo only spent a short period of more than 10 days. This speed is enough to scare people silly. But Chen Mo was not easily satisfied. Now the world is the era of cultivating immortals, and a little master in the key training period can press him to the ground and rub him. The martial arts innate is just the foundation realm for him to forge immortal bones. So the next step is to enter the blood refining pass. Let the innate true ki protect his own lifeline and 5 internal organs, and the body will undergo 5 marrow washing and blood transfusions. Completely shed the mortal body and transform into immortal bones. Chen Mo looked up at the sky of the secret realm. A red sun was hanging. He remembered the sun rising and setting 5 times. This is the 5th day since he came to the secret realm. Next, he needs to catch red gold ants, find the elixir of the blood refining pass, and break through the ladder of the Wushan sect to seize the inheritance. There are many things to do. In terms of time, Chen Mo is a little nervous. Chen Mo stood up and took a look at the student who was patrolling the path at the foot of the mountain in the distance. He had some impression of this person. He seemed to be a student of Jiangchang No. 1 Middle School, sitting with a student who had a small conflict with him before. They were fighting with others before, and it seemed that they meant to prevent others from going up the mountain from this location. It has been several days. Could it be that they are looking for some treasure here? While Chen Mo was guessing in his heart, he chose a location more than 200 meters away from the man and prepared to climb up the Holy Beast Mountain to have a look. But soon after Chen Mo started his steps, he saw the man running over to stop Chen Mo. Stop, this road is blocked. This place has been selected by our No. 1 Middle School. You should go to other places to have a look. Zhou Kun came to Chen Mo quickly, drew out the long sword in his hand, pointed to the location of the Holy Beast Mountain behind him, and shouted coldly. Hearing this, Chen Mo frowned. He said impatiently, anyone can find this secret opportunity. When did it become your private land? Zhou Kun sneered when he heard this. This place was discovered by our #1 middle school first, so of course it belongs to us. If you don't agree, you can try it. His voice was full of unquestionable confidence. He has won several challenges like Chen Mo in the past few days, and he will not take Chen Mo seriously this time. Chen Mo raised his head and glanced coldly at the long sword blocking him. This place is surrounded by primitive forests. If he fights with him, he is not afraid. With his current strength, it would be easy for him to kill the other party. But adults only consider the pros and cons, while children only consider right and wrong. The key is whether it is worth it for him to take action. Chen Mo's mind raced and he began to consider. Make a wish first to see if he can know what the other party is looking for. Make a wish. I want to know how to get the treasure that the middle school students on the opposite side are fighting for. The information of this world is being analyzed, and the wishes are being analyzed. Chen Mo thought to himself. He soon got the information he wanted. Path 1. Fight head-on. Kill Zhou Kun to get a blood Ganoderma, the opponent's secret blood refining medicine. Path 2. Avoid Zhou Kun. Go 7 miles up the mountain from the south, and when you pass a giant locust tree 30 feet high, use a flight talisman to avoid the patrol of the middle school students. After going around to this mountain forest, you can find 2 blood Ganoderma in the northeast valley 1 day later. Path 3. Retreat temporarily, and wait 50 miles north of here 3 days later. After a middle school student fights a first-level clouded leopard beast, you can pick up 8 blood Ganoderma. After digesting the information, Chen Mo hesitated for a moment and decided to choose Path 3. Path 1 can be chosen, but the reward is too small. This kind of blood Ganoderma, I don't know how to use it, maybe 1 is not enough for his blood refining level. The second approach was time-consuming and yielded little. Only the third approach was in line with his inner thoughts. Well, let's leave the blood Ganoderma on you first. This thought flashed through Chen Mo's mind. Then he looked at Zhou Kun coldly and turned away. Zhou Kun looked at Chen Mo's disappearing back and snorted coldly. You are smart, kid. Half a day later, after Chen Mo gave up killing Zhou Kun to seize the blood Ganoderma, he took a detour from the other side to the east of the Holy Beast Mountain to look for the Spirit Monkey group. After breaking through the Xiantian realm, he did not forget the hint he got from making a wish before. According to the hint, Chen Mo encountered a perfect blood lion beast on the way. After he spent a wish, he successfully escaped the danger of the blood lion beast and found the habitat of the Spirit Monkey group. Chen Mo was so angry that he cursed loudly at that time. He got nothing but grabbed a few animal hairs. After making a wish that time, Chen Mo felt that his spirit was faintly tired, which was caused by his frequent wishes recently. There may be other dangers that require making wishes, so he doesn't dare to use the system easily now. Thinking of this, Chen Mo's desire to get a spiritual practice method became stronger again. Unfortunately, this kind of method is hard to find. Chen Mo hid his figure and carefully looked at a valley not far away. The back of the valley was an uneven cliff, and there were several hidden caves near the underground border. Chen Mo saw the cave and thought that maybe the monkey wine was hidden in the stone cave deep in the cave. Outside the valley, low shrubs and unknown fruit trees were mixed with each other. The low spiritual mist on the treetops and the water vapor in the valley formed a faint white cloud, which seemed to be surrounded by clouds and mist. The surrounding environment was beautiful, with white clouds floating, mountains and rivers rippling, and all things growing. At this time, a group of macaques were climbing and playing, and some were squatting on the branches of big trees. When the mountain breeze blew, the fruits fell, causing the young macaques to chase and play. This group of monkeys really know how to find a place. Based on the scene in this valley, even though Chen Mo has not yet learned the art of looking at key, he knows that this place is not simple. No wonder there is monkey wine here that can help people realize the truth. Chen Mo swallowed his saliva and seemed to have smelled a sweet aroma of fruit wine. He carefully hid his figure and silently observed the surroundings. Monkey wine is a delicious fruit wine that has been naturally brewed for 100 years by the monkeys who collected the water from the cold pool at the bottom of the mountain, the 700-year-old rock peach on the top of the Holy Beast Mountain, the fruit of 100 flowers, and the morning dew in the mountains. But this group of monkeys is only a few dozen. Chen Mo found that there were several macaques that exuded the aura of high-level training. With his current strength, he would definitely not be able to face the enemy head-on. Half an hour later, Chen Mo found that there were several leading monkeys in the monkey group leading more than a dozen monkeys out of the valley. His eyes lit up, and the opportunity came. At this time, the chance of being discovered by using the escape talisman is much smaller. Chen Mo counted the few escape talismans in his hand, gritted his teeth, ignited a piece of talisman paper and stuck it on himself. Almost as soon as the monkey had turned to look over, Chen Mo's figure disappeared without a trace. Even his breath disappeared completely. Chen Mo breathed a sigh of relief. That was a close call. Then, Chen Mo carefully avoided several monkeys blocking the way and moved towards the cave on the rock wall. Let's start stealing the house. Chapter 36, Spiritual Wine in Hand, Blood Food Plotted. No shadow, no trace, no breath, no trace. Sometimes, a macaque passed by him. The escape talisman is worthy of being inherited by the Talisman Emperor. It is simply an immortal talisman for stealing and fighting. Chen Mo had a feeling that as long as his realm was not too high, it would be difficult for the other party to find him. A few minutes later, Chen Mo carefully avoided the obstacles in front of him and finally sneaked into the stone cave. The cave was full of all kinds of strange stalagmites, stalactites and stone pits formed by natural cliff milk. Swish! Entering the stone cave, Chen Mo's nose moved. Soon he smelled a refreshing and rich aroma of wine. It was in the stone pit in front of him. Chen Mo's heart moved, and he walked towards the stone pit not far in front excitedly. Sure enough, when he got closer, he found that the stone pit where the wine was stored was about 10 feet wide, and there were spiritual fruits and rock peaches of varying freshness scattered around the stone pit. Some were almost fermented, and some were just picked not long ago, and even the broken ends of the fruits were still a bit fresh. At the bottom of the stone pit, there was a pool of clear and bright monkey wine. Chen Mo leaned in and smelled it, and he could smell the rich aroma. He tried to take a sip of the monkey wine and asked, "Tisk tisk." The taste was fresh and thorough, and the fragrance was overflowing. After entering the mouth was cool and clean, and the sweetness was endless, which made people salivate. With every sip, Chen Mo had a cool and refreshing feeling, as if he was immersed in a pool of clear spring water, and felt a fit between heaven and earth. Sure enough, it is worthy of the system prompt that it can help people to realize the spirit wine. Chen Mo sighed secretly. While the monkey hasn't found it yet, pack it up and take it away. Chen Mo quickly found a few large containers from his storage wrist, and carefully scooped up all the monkey wine at the bottom of the pit and took it away. This time it's going to be rich. These few pots of monkey wine will definitely cause thousands of people to rush to grab them if they are put outside. After Chen Mo finished filling all the monkey wine, he turned his eyes to the rock peaches and fairy fruits scattered around the stone pit. 700-year-old rock peach, the fruit of 100 flowers. These are also rare spiritual fruits. They can be used to brew spiritual wine like spirit monkey wine, and they may have other magical effects. This thought flashed through his mind. Then Chen Mo quickly picked up all the scattered fruits around and threw them into his storage wrist. Da-da! Chen Mo heard the sound of approaching footsteps outside. A monkey is coming in. Retreat. Just as Chen Mo turned to leave, he suddenly became alert. This time he stole all the spirit monkey wine in the stone pit, which would definitely cause the monkeys to go crazy later. You know, macaques are addicted to alcohol. If they find that the spiritual wine they have painstakingly brewed has been stolen, they will search all over the mountains and plains for the wine thief. It will inevitably cause a lot of trouble. How can he safely look for the red gold ants? And the group of people in the first place? I am afraid that the harvest of blood Ganoderma will be greatly reduced. Got it. That first level perfect bloodline beast. Suddenly, a light flashed in Chen Mo's mind. Isn't that beast ferocious? Maybe we can kill two birds with one stone this time. Chen Mo quickly took out the blood lion hairs he had picked up before and threw one of them on the edge of the wine pit. Then, while the effect of the escape talisman had not yet been exhausted, he quickly rushed to the territory of the bloodlion beast that he had passed through before. Just as Chen Mo had just left the valley, a long scream of a macaque came from behind. Chi. Suddenly, the macaques in the valley suddenly stopped. Then, squeak, squeak, the monkey's noisy sounds rang out. For a moment, the monkey's shadow swayed, the big trees in the valley shook, and the leaves fell. Chen Mo looked back and smiled triumphantly. I got the spirit monkey wine. I guess I can make my artistic conception perfect before the birth of the Immortal Bone next. Once his artistic conception is perfect, the innate magical power born when he is promoted to the Immortal Bone must be absolutely not weak. Chen Mo couldn't help but start to look forward to it. The plan continued. Not far from leaving the valley, Chen Mo threw in 2 more bloodline hairs. It is better to have chaos in one place than to have chaos all over the mountain. This time he wants to lead the whole monkey group to fight the bloodline beast. He is plotting the blood food of the first level of blood refining. After being promoted to the innate true key, there are 5 blood refining levels. Each level is stronger than the last. Washing the marrow and refining the blood depends on the change of the blood in the body from quantitative to qualitative, so that the old blood in the body can be transformed and evolved into higher level blood. This step seems simple, but it is actually dangerous. When washing the marrow and exchanging blood, the internal organs in the body need to vibrate, and the whole body's true key must be infiltrated into the deep of the bone marrow cells to achieve a thorough blood exchange. This process cannot be achieved in a short time, and there must be endless innate true key to protect the internal organs and heart veins. If you want to quickly reach the level of breaking through the level of washing the marrow and refining the blood, there are generally 2 ways. One is to take blood refining secret medicine, such as blood ganoderma, dragon blood orchid, 7-source flower, century-old ancient ginseng, etc. One is the blood-eating method, which is to eat a lot of animal meat ingredients rich in blood and ki, or to eat spiritual blood ingredients directly to nourish the body, so that the blood and ki in the body can be transformed quickly. Like the ox-horned pomfret and tiger-headed grouper in the rivers and swamps, and the spiritual blood elk and red-blooded white tiger in the deep mountains and old forests. These 2 methods can be achieved quickly in the Wuxian mysterious realm. This is one of the reasons why the entire Jiangcheng and surrounding forces want to compete for the quota of this secret realm. Ordinary people who have no money to buy blood food and blood refining secret medicine can only rely on practicing exercises to slowly accumulate blood and change their quality. Or like ordinary students like Wu Yuang, they practice with ordinary blood refining secret medicines issued by the school, and both the quantity and the quality of blood refining will be much worse. This will delay the blood refining process and affect the quality of the celestial bones that will be born later, or even the celestial bones will not be born. In other words, even if those wealthy second-generation officials and rich second generations ask them to take out a large amount of blood refining resources to cultivate their descendants, it is not impossible. But with the means of their circle, why should they pay for things that can be done without spending money? Isn't the money of the Federation well spent? Chen Mo knew that there were many people in Blue Star and Jiangcheng who occupied the free resources provided by the government to the grassroots people, which should not belong to them. Fortunately, the Federation still guarded the last hurdle of the school-college entrance examination. Under the layers of siege, there was still a passage for ordinary people. However, Chen Mo felt that all this was normal. The history of more than 5,000 years was just a cycle. If a person does not work for himself, he will be punished by heaven and earth, let alone cultivating immortals. Sometimes Chen Mo just complained from the perspective of the weak. Thinking of this, Chen Mo accelerated and ran towards the territory of the bloodline beast. The beast was a perfect first-level spirit beast. Before, it relied on the perfect first-level cultivation to chase him, causing him to waste a flying talisman. Now the whole monkey group had to fight it for the spirit monkey wine to see if it could survive. If the plan succeeded, he could use the perfect first-level blood food to advance to the first level of blood refining. Next, when Chen Mo approached the edge of the bloodline beast territory, he dropped the last animal hair in his hand again. But this time, he carefully sprinkled a little bit of monkey wine on the road along the way. Until he went deep into the bloodline beast's territory, he poured some monkey wine. Chen Mo quickly found a place to hide and prepared to watch the show, waiting for the monkeys to come and go crazy. Bloodline beast, you have to take the blame. It's just a bit pitiful for the monkey. But on the road of cultivating immortals, it's better to die than to die. I don't care so much. Chapter 37, The Innate Master. Chen Mo quietly retreated to a place where he could observe the bloodline beast in the distance, and waited quietly. He knew that any powerful mountain spirit beast had its own territory, and generally they would not interfere with each other. Unless they felt that their territory was invaded, encountered a beast tide, or fought for spiritual objects, they would fight. At this time, a strong aroma of fruit wine drifted in the bloodline beast's territory. Swish! The bloodline beast, which had been resting at home, smelled the fragrance and suddenly twitched its nose. A majestic red-haired male lion, about 2 meters tall, suddenly jumped up from the ground. Its red beast's eyes revealed a bit of excitement and restlessness, and it exuded a strong and fierce aura. It licked the place where Chen Mo sprinkled the spirit monkey wine and chased it all the way out. It seems that this guy is very interested in the taste of the spirit monkey wine. It won't be long before those monkeys will catch up. Chen Mo quietly hid in the distance and waited. Sure enough, it was less than a few minutes later. Suddenly, the forest on the way here shook, and the branches swayed unsteadily, like a gust of wind. Squeak, chirp, squeak, squeak, the sharp monkey cry sounded. All things in the forest were startled, and the birds spread their wings and flew away. The quiet forest was broken in an instant. Chaos, noisy. Chen Mo saw from afar that several macaque leaders who revealed the breadth of high-level key training had red eyes and led the monkeys to rush towards the bloodline beast. Roar. The bloodline beast felt that its territory was invaded, and it roared violently, kicked its four hooves, and opened its bloody mouth to bite the monkeys that rushed over. After the macaque leader noticed that the bloodline beast had the taste of its own fruit wine. Suddenly, he was extremely jealous as if he met an enemy. At this time, they forgot the strength of their opponents, became crazy, and fought without showing any weakness. For a time, two different populations of monsters in the forest began a tragic fight. A group of macaques at the beginning of the key training period were eager to try on the branches. They gathered their own aura and seemed to have completed the battle. On the other side, the bloodline beast, which had completed the key training period, was tall and mighty, and was obviously a master of combat. At the beginning of the battle, the aura was instantly agitated. The leading monkey jumped at the bloodline beast, and countless movements and attacks collided and intertwined, making a deafening sound. The bloodline beast was extraordinary and swift. It quickly dodged the monkey's attack and fought back with its sharp claws. The monkeys seemed to be struggling when they were not at an advantage, but they relied on the strength of the monkey group and still attacked the enemy unyieldingly. Many macaques fell in the mountains and forests, and groans and wails came one after another. The breath became more and more tragic, and waves of faint bloody smells came to the nose. After several confrontations, the monkey group gradually gained the upper hand, and curses and cheers sounded at the same time. However, at this time, the bloodline beast suddenly used all its strength to pounce on the leading monkey king, and killed the monkey king instantly when he was not prepared. At this time, the other high-level macaques had already become weak. For a time, the monkeys were all shocked by the power of the bloodline. Squeak. A monkey cried out in grief. Without the leader of the monkey king, the other monkeys had no spare energy to continue attacking. They could only look at the back of the bloodline beast and drag their injured companions back in grief. This battle was a lose-lose situation. Both the monkeys and the bloodline beast were seriously injured. Chen Mo was shocked after seeing this scene. This was the first time he had seen such a bloody fight. He felt a little bit reluctant to the monkeys. But soon, he got rid of this idea from his mind. On the road of cultivating immortals, you must not be soft-hearted. Now he can still stand here, nothing more than relying on the safe environment of Blue Star and the escape talisman in his hand. If one day, when he walks out of Blue Star, steps into the other world, and steps into the battlefield of the blood underworld, that was the moment of life and death. Whoever showed weakness would die. The battlefield soon became quiet. The bloodline beast fought with its last remaining strength and could no longer stand after repelling the monkeys. It lay weakly on the ground. He could see that the bloodline beast didn't even have the strength to lick its wounds. At this time, Chen Mo quickly gathered his mind and came quietly in front of the bloodline beast with a long sword in hand. Looking at the weak and somewhat familiar figure in front of him, the bloodline beast's angry red eyes flashed with a trace of cruelty and unwillingness. Woo! The bloodline beast finally lowered its head and let out a low whimper. A flash of cold light flashed. Puff! Chen Mo's long sword entered the flesh, and the tip of the sword penetrated through the beast's skull. Puff! Another sword. Puff! Another sword. Until the bloodline beast's life breath completely dissipated. Chen Mo quickly cut the bloodline beast's body into pieces and froze it with ice true key to prevent the essence in the flesh from losing quickly. Half an hour later, Chen Mo lit a bonfire on the ground. A large leg of an animal was roasted on the bonfire until it was sizzling with oil. The rich aroma of barbecue wafted through the forest. In fact, if the bloodline beast, a top-grade blood food, is eaten with some secret medicine, the blood refining effect will be better. But in this secret realm, Chen Mo couldn't care too much. If the quality is not enough, then the quantity will make up for it. The best way is to quickly transform the things you get into strength. Anyway, Such a big bloodline beast is enough for him to break through the blood refining once. Hiss. Chen Mo bit off the beast meat. His mouth was full of fragrant oil and smooth and tender meat. Well, very good. Although there are not many seasonings. But high-end ingredients such as the first-level spirit beast often only need the simplest cooking methods. Delicious. Chen Mo praised loudly. Especially this bloodline meat is not only delicious, but the key is that it can help him refine blood and cleanse marrow. Chen Mo chewed the barbecue excitedly. As the barbecue entered his stomach and digested, a strong and wild blood force burst out in his body. Chen Mo quickly channeled the power in his body, quickly absorbing and refining this new ki and blood power. At this time, his stomach was digesting quickly like a furnace of heaven and earth. A mouthful of beast meat entered his stomach, was quickly digested and decomposed, and accelerated the birth of ki and blood power in his body. In fact, it is not an exaggeration to say that the generals who practiced martial arts in ancient times ate a cow a day. This was confirmed when the ancient cultivation civilization was deciphered after the restoration of spiritual energy on Blue Star. For ordinary people, eating 2 or 3 pounds of meat at a time is enough to fill them up, but for innate martial artists, eating 100 times at a time can also be quickly digested and absorbed. Chen Mo felt that he could eat 3 cows a day. Eat, eat, eat. Chen Mo began to swallow the beast meat non-stop. A wisp of new ki and blood power was quickly born and refined. He constantly guided the increased ki and blood in his body to control and channel it deep into his body, making his strength more advanced. Chen Mo's body is undergoing a challenge of marrow washing and blood refining. Time passed slowly. The ki and blood inside Chen Mo's body kept surging, becoming thicker and thicker, until the accumulated power had reached the right qualitative change point, and began to move step by step towards the breakthrough. Suddenly, the light in Chen Mo's eyes became brighter and brighter, as dazzling as the sun. Finally, his internal organs and bones trembled wildly, and a burst of energy suddenly erupted, spreading outward with the force of a bamboo breaking bamboo. Break. With this burst of energy, the replaced old blood in Chen Mo's body instantly turned into a stream of energy and blood, erupting through the pores of his body. A foot-high blood smoke condensed above Chen Mo's head. Chen Mo easily completed the first major breakthrough in the blood refining level. 1. Refining Innate Master. Chapter 38 Red Gold Ant, Blood Ganoderma. When Chen Mo ate the bloodline beast meat and broke through, others who entered the secret realm were also looking for opportunities to break through. Some people had already started to venture into the inheritance ladder of the witch god's secret realm and gained some rewards. At this time, more than 10 kilometers away from Chen Mo, Xiao Taming, Zhou Kun and others were trying their best to find blood Ganoderma in this mountain forest. After Chen Mo refined his blood once, he used his true ki to freeze the remaining half of the bloodline beast meat and threw it into the storage wrist for preservation. This time, his storage wrist was filled to the brim. Chen Mo thought that after leaving the secret realm, he still had to make money to buy a large storage ring for convenience. This storage wrist was bought for him by Zhou Yan before, but at that time he had too many things to buy and not enough spirit stones, so he could only make do with it. Chen Mo took a look at the sky and the surroundings and determined the direction. It was getting late, and he decided to find the red gold ant before a middle school student fought with a clouded leopard beast. Make a wish. I want to know how to find the red gold ants in the shortest time. The information of this world is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. A stream of information instantly flooded into his mind. Route 1, go northwest from here, go straight for 20 miles to reach a cliff, cross the cliff within 30 minutes, and continue to go straight for 50 miles to the northwest, where you can see a stone mountain, where you can find the red gold ants. Route 2, go west from here for 20 miles, and you will encounter a mountain eagle that has perfected the first stage of ki training. Tame the mountain eagle and you can reach it in a short time. The handwriting of the wishing route just appeared in his mind. The familiar feeling of fatigue came again, and Chen Mo felt a sense of weightlessness and suffocation in his body. Oh no, this is a wishing transition. The last time he made a wish, he had a vague feeling that he was about to reach his limit. This time, just after making a wish, Guo Lai's body fell into the recovery period of making a wish again. Chen Mo had a guess about this. With the improvement of his strength and the environment in which he made wishes, the level of the things he wished for became higher and higher, and the golden finger seemed to have higher and higher requirements on his spirit. He calculated in his mind that 6 or 7 days had passed since he entered the mysterious realm of witches and gods, and his martial arts realm had been improved twice. from the previous internal energy realm to the innate true energy, and then to the blood refining ones. At this time, both his own strength and spirit had greatly improved. But in these 6 or 7 days, he only made 3 wishes in total. This frequency of wishing was actually lower than outside. Chen Mo secretly kept this idea in mind and prepared to observe and compare it later. After his spirit was slightly relieved, Chen Mo read the system prompt and decided to choose path 1 for safety. A few hours later, Chen Mo came to a stone mountain with a faint metallic luster. The stone mountain was hard and bare, with a metallic luster, as if it had a kind of domineering and power. It should be here, Chen Mo murmured. He carefully came to the stone mountain and began to look for the red gold ants. The sky-horned ant is one of the 10 mysterious evil creatures in a legendary ancient world. It is said to be the strongest and comparable to the physical body of an immortal king. I don't know what is so magical about this red gold ant, the descendant of the sky-horned ant. It should be just a faint blood inheritance, Chen Mo guessed while looking between the rocks. Not long after, a clanging sound suddenly came from the inside of a stone mountain not far away. Chen Mo's heart moved. He walked forward carefully to observe. He saw 2 red gold ants with bodies only an inch in size and prominent horns crawling out of the stone mountain. The sunlight shone on the ants, making them look more dazzling. The shiny red gold shell of the ants exuded a mysterious and powerful charm, and looked extremely powerful and powerful. This is the red gold ant. Judging from the aura emitted by these 2 red gold ants, they should be around the 1st or 2nd stage of key training. With his current strength, there is no need to be afraid. Chen Mo didn't know what was special about this ant, but it must be extraordinary to make Dan Chenzi willing to exchange it with a longevity pill. Chen Mo was a little excited. He carefully took out a beast-taming ring he had prepared in advance, concealed his own breath, and quietly approached the red gold ant. Just as Chen Mo approached, the 2 red gold ants seemed to have noticed something and stopped their steps immediately. They raised their 2 majestic antennae and kept sniffing in the air. Seeing this, Chen Mo no longer hesitated, and directly mobilized the blood and ki power of his whole body and gathered the true meaning of ice in his hands, and quickly pressed on the back of a red gold ant. Dong dong. Chen Mo suddenly felt a huge vibration in his palm. The small red gold ant kept hitting his palm and almost overturned his palm. If he had not already refined the blood and ki in his body would have been transformed. Otherwise, if he only competed with strength, he might not be able to beat the power of the red gold ant. It's really extraordinary. Pressing down the red gold ant, Chen Mo quickly poured it into the beast-taming ring. The beast-taming ring in Chen Mo's hand was made by a blue star weapon refiner, and it contained a certain amount of space to store living things. Next, Chen Mo did the same thing and successfully caught 14 red gold ants in this stone mountain. If it weren't for the fact that 15 red gold ants were already the limit of his beast-controlling ring, he really wanted to catch more here. What Chen Mo got unexpectedly was that when he caught this nest of red gold ants, Chen Mo knocked open the stone mountain and harvested dozens of white red gold ant eggs the size of rice grains from it. This is a good thing. Each ant egg is equivalent to an unhatched red gold ant cub, which contains the life source of the red gold ant. Even if it cannot be successfully hatched, it can help people improve the power of the life source if it is eaten directly. After putting away the red gold ant eggs, Chen Mo looked at this place with lingering feelings and left. Next, he had to quickly intercept the students of number 1 middle school to seize the blood Ganoderma. Half a day later, Chen Mo estimated the time and finally found a group of people from Jiangchang number 1 middle school. At this time, they were very proud and evacuated from the Holy Beast Mountain with laughter and chatter. This time, Xiao Taming and Zhou Kun from the 1st middle school found a lot of blood Ganoderma from the mountains. Almost all of them were promoted to the blood refining level. Chen Mo was far behind them, quietly following them to pick up the leaks. Did these guys stop others from going up the mountain to find blood Ganoderma before? This time Chen Mo wanted to catch all their gains. Time passed slowly. No one of Zhou Kun and his team expected that danger was approaching. Just when they were about 40 or 50 miles north of the Holy Beast Mountain, suddenly, a first-level cloud leopard beast more than 2 meters long, smelling the breath of blood, suddenly rushed out of the side forest and pounced on them. In an instant, Xiao Taming and Zhou Kun and their team started a fierce battle with the cloud leopard. Scream, roar. For a while, the sound of fighting echoed in the forest. Seeing this, Chen Mo quietly retreated a little distance again to avoid the impact of the battlefield. Half an hour later, after Zhou Kun and his team fought desperately, They finally repelled the attack of the cloud leopard beast. But the result was that everyone was injured, and several were seriously injured. If someone hadn't brought a life potion to alleviate the injury, I'm afraid that this time, 3 or 4 people in the first class would have to confess here. In the end, Zhou and the others decided to stay where they were and be on guard. After temporarily treating their wounds, they would go to the inheritance ladder of the Wushan sect to venture out. Chen Mo observed from a distance for a while. After seeing that they were really seriously injured, he breathed a sigh of relief. He thought that the systems picking up leaks would require a bloody battle, but now it seems that he can easily seize their blood Ganoderma. Thinking of this, Chen Mo looked at the figure in the distance and sneered. It's time to pick up leaks. Chen Mo carefully took out a talisman and stuck it on his body, and quickly sneaked towards them. Thanks to Jinghong Ui for the reward, and the monthly ticket recommendation tickets of several big guys for support. The author is indeed a newbie. There are many places that I want to write well, but my writing skills are limited. I apologize for bringing you a bad experience. Welcome everyone to criticize and correct, support, follow up, and collect it. Thank you! Exclamation mark. Chapter 39, Harvest, Wushan Sect. Ah! My hand. Where's my storage wrist? Xiao Taming shouted. Who is it? My blood Ganoderma. What the hell? Then Zhou and other students from number 1 middle school also screamed in fear. For a moment, the students from number 1 middle school who were sitting in place to recover suddenly stood up in fear. They leaned against each other back to back, waving their weapons, and looked vigilantly at the empty front. Just now, they only felt a breeze blowing around them, as if an invisible figure quickly and forcibly took away the storage wrists they were wearing. Of course, all this was done by Chen Mo. At this moment, he had hidden far away and counted the harvest in his hands: 3 storage wrists, 1 storage bracelet. Chen Mo weighed the harvest in his hand and showed a satisfied look. He wanted to take a few more, but the students from number 1 middle school behind him were on guard, so it was difficult for him to succeed again. 4 storage spaces, this harvest is not bad. Check it first. After reading, Chen Mo urged the innate true ki in his body and forcibly broke through the mark on the storage bracelet. Hey, there are so many good things. 1 bottle of purple spirit essence, 4 nourishing incense, 1 bottle of marrow cleansing pill, 2 bottles of body quenching pill, a copy of the Iron Stone Fist technique, 1 prison talisman and some spiritual medicines. 2 first-level optical magnetic pistols, 3 mechanical dogs, 1 outdoor intelligent self-cooking pot. 10 blood Ganoderma. After counting the harvest in his hands, Chen Mo couldn't help but smile. It was really a big harvest. There were 10 blood Ganoderma, which was 1 more than the previous way to upgrade. Considering the problem of the weakening effect of spiritual medicines after repeated use, he estimated that this amount could allow him to refine blood twice. There is also marrow cleansing pill, which is also a high-quality elixir for marrow cleansing and blood refining, which Chen Mo has never used. Just this robbery has completely exceeded all the spiritual stones he had before. Chen Mo sighed. It is true that a man cannot become rich without unexpected wealth, and a horse cannot become fat without night grass. These genius children of rich families are really rich. If it was before he awakened the golden finger, all his wealth could not be exchanged for 1/10 of the things here. Chen Mo sighed and shook his head. Then he carefully put away these things and rushed directly to the secret realm inheritance ladder. The goal of this secret realm is to get the red gold ant and break through to the master of the first level of innate cultivation. With a harvest in hand, it will be no problem to break through to the 5th level of cultivation. Now the only thing left is to seize the inheritance of the Wushan sect and the Wu Yandan. This is what he wants most when he enters this secret realm. You must know that this kind of ancient inheritance is of extraordinary value. If it is placed outside, there is often no chance to obtain it even if you have money. After temporarily not being able to make a wish, Chen Mo was much more careful along the way. He did not communicate with people he met on the road, and avoided people and many dangers when walking. After running for about a day, Chen Mo finally came to the core inheritance place of the Wushan secret realm. What came into view was an ancient and grand building. It was a ladder-shaped tower made of blue stone and unknown minerals, a bit like a pyramid, but this tower was square and the entire ladder was as high as 100 floors. This is the inheritance ladder. Looking at this ladder tower, Chen Mo murmured in shock. Looking down from the top, you can see that each layer of the ladder is embedded with huge stone bricks, and it is also dotted with various bronze decorations around. shining with a mysterious and ancient atmosphere. The ladder is wrapped in mysterious runes, as if it is protecting this ancient building, and it is eternal in this underground secret space. Chen Mo came to the ladder. At this time, there are already many students standing on the steps of the ladder who are trying to pass the level. However, most of them are currently wandering around the 20th, 30th, 40th or 50th steps. At the bottom of the ladder stands a huge monument. There are some vague symbols engraved on it, and there are 3 particularly deep-set mysterious symbol marks at the top. These symbols are somewhat special, and they seem to be astronomy that carries the meaning of heaven and earth, representing the meaning of heaven and earth text. When Chen Mo looked at it, he inexplicably understood that it was the 3 words Wu Shen Zong. Then, a stream of information about this place on the stone tablet emerged in his mind. It turns out that this place is a place for the ancient Wu Shen Zong to select disciples for testing and inheritance. Wu Shen Zong originated from the descendants of the ancient witches. This lineage of inheritance is a way of physical cultivation, pursuing the integration of all great ways into one's own body, pursuing the sanctification of the flesh, and the eternal and immortal way. This is different from the 2 methods of key training and immortal cultivation that Chen Mo knew, the ancient heaven and earth law and the golden pill law. Here, as long as you have a certain physical talent, you can climb the inheritance ladder to test. Those who pass the test will receive the inheritance reward of Wu Shen Zong. After digesting this information in his mind, Chen Mo was shocked. This secret place turned out to be the ancient body training inheritance. Wu Shen Zong, could it be the inheritance of the ancient ancestor witch? Chen Mo knew that since Blue Star deciphered some ancient relics, he knew that Blue Star was not simple, and many ancient myths and legends were not fabricated. For example, the most popular key training, foundation building, golden elixir, and nascent soul, the golden elixir method, is inherited from the creation and evolution of the Taoist ancestor. The sort intent and artistic conception that Chen Mo and his team have comprehended are actually derived from some branches of the ancient heaven and earth method. It's just that the heaven and earth method is older than the golden elixir method, and there is no relatively complete inheritance. It is said that in ancient times, living beings took heaven and earth as the law, and all could comprehend and practice. At that time, there was no such thing as spiritual roots. Perhaps the heaven and earth have changed, or perhaps the inheritance has disappeared. So far, Blue Star has not found the inheritance of the heaven and earth method. Thinking of this, Chen Mo was a little excited. Who doesn't yearn for those ancient myths handed down from ancient times? If his guess is true, then this time they won the inheritance, and they will once again add a complete inheritance of the body refining lineage to Blue Star. This will be no less than the birth of 108 body tempering secrets. I'm afraid that the entire Blue Star will cause an earthquake by then. Chen Mo looked around the ladder carefully. He saw Li Wu, a classmate, who was standing still on the 46th boulder step. No, it's not motionless. Soon, Chen Mo carefully discovered that Li Wu's body was trembling slightly, as if his body was bearing a pressure that he could not bear. Chen Mo's sight stayed on him for a while, and then turned to Song Yihan, who was 5 steps higher than him. Song Yihan, like Li Wu, stayed at the 51st step of the ladder, and it seemed difficult to climb again. However, Song Yihan's position was already at the height of the first echelon. This surprised Chen Mo. Unexpectedly, this girl not only had such a good spiritual root for cultivating immortals, but also seemed to have a good talent for a physical training. In addition to Song Yihan, there were several people who reached the heights of 55, 57 and 58 steps. However, Chen Mo did not know those people. He did not pay too much attention to them. Chapter 40, Secret Recipe of Wuling Wine. Dong. Chen Mo took a step on the first stone staircase. Suddenly, an invisible gravity surged towards his body. And it was as if the innate true ki in his body disappeared, and he could only rely on the strength of his body to support it. Chen Mo frowned slightly. This was only the first step, and the invisible gravity pressing on him was several dozen kilograms heavier. What about the next 40, 50, 60 or 70 steps? Chen Mo's heart suddenly became heavy. This inheritance ladder of the Wushan sect that tests the physical talent is really not simple. He didn't know what his physical talent was, but thinking of the previous wish path 1, as long as he followed the path prompts, he should be able to do it. Chen Mo's heart surged with a fighting spirit, and a trace of determination and desire flashed in his eyes. But he wanted more than just climbing the 99th step. Dong, dong, dong 30 steps. 40 steps. In front, Chen Mo quickly climbed to the 40th step under a huge pressure. At this point, he felt that he had been under the pressure of 6,000 kilograms of force. The mysterious runes engraved on the ladder flashed with a mysterious and ancient aura, shrouding Chen Mo. He gritted his teeth and looked up. The original 100 steps were still 100 steps, but the distance between the steps seemed to be pulled very far. The distance between each step seemed very far apart, and it gave people a desperate thought of giving up. It seemed that no matter how hard he tried, there was no gloomy emotion of hope to climb up. Chen Mo shook his head and resolutely cut off these emotions that affected him. He looked up and down. At this time, he was standing in a position that was higher than a few students. There were more than a dozen people below him who could not climb up no matter what. Chen Mo estimated that the 40th step was the first talent watershed. Those below this should be completely without physical talent. And above, there were 70 or 80 scattered figures standing on the stone steps of different heights. Chen Mo gritted his teeth and continued to climb up. At this time, he could still grit his teeth and persist with his own strength. Duang. Duang. At this point, Chen Mo had to withstand tremendous pressure with every step he took. The flesh cells in his body seemed to be squeezed crazily by an invisible pressure. The blood in his body spontaneously flowed rapidly under this pressure. Duang. 47th step. It has exceeded the height of Li Wu before. Chen Mo gritted his teeth and counted the number of stone steps he climbed. His eyes were full of determination. After climbing to the 47th step, Chen Mo guessed that his physical talent was much stronger than his immortal talent. Now he felt that his legs could still lift. Duang. 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 He crossed 3 steps in succession. Hush! 50th step. Just when Chen Mo's feet stood on the 50th step, suddenly a huge gravity descended on Chen Mo's shoulders. The pressure made his shoulders sink suddenly. Fuck. This is at least 8,000 kilograms of force. This is almost the strength of a top martial artist. Just when Chen Mo was surprised, the mysterious and ancient aura that enveloped Chen Mo on the stone steps suddenly surged. Then, a secret recipe for the spirit wine inherited from the Wuxian sect suddenly appeared in his mind. Wuling wine. A first-level body-refining spirit wine. After taking it, it can improve the physical talent and increase the physical strength. Long-term use combined with bodybuilding exercises can become a first-level barbarian. It is brewed by boiling and brewing more than a dozen secret medicines, such as the Earth Mother, Gangquan, Kyernglong root, Niu Dali, Spirit Beast Bones, Niu root, Tiger marrow, and 5 grains, rice, millet, wheat, and beans. After digesting the Advent inheritance in his mind, Chen Mo's eyes suddenly lit up. Wuling wine. First-level body-refining barbarian. I didn't expect that passing the 50th level would actually get such a reward. Chen Mo's mind turned quickly. He didn't know what rewards others got after passing the 50th level, whether it was the same as him or something else. But the secret recipe of Wuling wine is definitely one of the most valuable rewards. If Wuling wine can be taken for a long time and combined with cultivation, it can become a first-level barbarian. This level of barbarian should be a physical cultivator comparable to a first-level key refiner. If he could brew this Wuling wine, then the laboratory he was going to build next could generate income for him openly and continuously. Then his parents would no longer have to work hard for others. And Chen Yuan could also take some top-grade secret medicines from junior high school to consolidate the foundation of martial arts and lay the foundation for practicing the 108 body tempering techniques. Spirit monkey wine that helps people to understand the Tao, Wuling wine, a secret medicine for body refining, and the escape talisman inherited by the Emperor of Talismans. Chen Mo counted his gains in his mind, and there were already 3 businesses that could earn spirit stones for a long time. In addition, he could make money by making wishes continuously through the golden finger. It can be said that everything is ready, and now he just needs to be promoted to key training and register his own laboratory. If the world of cultivation wants to go long-term, the recognized 4-character mantra is wealth, friends, law, and land. In today's Blue Star, as long as there is money, friends, law, and land are easy to say. The purpose of Chen Mo's long-term desire to set up his own laboratory is not only to improve the cultivation environment of his family and friends, but also to whitewash some of his gains. More importantly, you can get library points awarded by the Federation through paying taxes and making research contributions. Only with enough points can you enjoy the real technological convenience of cultivating immortals on Blue Star. Just like he mastered the other 6 arts of cultivating immortals and comprehended the profound secrets of cultivating immortals in the short time before, just like he comprehended the escape talisman in the metaverse. After Chen Mo firmly memorized the secret recipe of the witch wine in his mind, he breathed a sigh of relief and prepared to continue climbing the next step of the inheritance ladder. Dong! Another dull sound. Chen Mo took another step upward under great pressure. This time, Chen Mo vaguely felt that his current physical strength seemed to be about to reach the limit of endurance. If he reached the limit and continued to climb, he might have to continue to improve his physical strength and increase his physical talent. At this time, the huge and heavy pressure forced Chen Mo to no longer think about his things. Chen Mo could only strengthen his consciousness and continue to walk up the stone step by step. Dong, dong, 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 53 steps, 54 steps, 57 steps. Chen Mo, at this moment, felt like he was walking with a huge mountain on his back. He had to grit his teeth and use all his strength for every step. The blood and ki surged wildly in his body, mobilizing every particle of his body, causing every step Chen Mo took to cause his muscles and bones to expand, squeeze and deform. His sweat had soaked his clothes completely. Bang! Just when Chen Mo stood on the 59th step, he could no longer stand. The mysterious pressure made him unable to lift his legs at all. Is it the limit? Chen Mo looked at his feet with a little regret. It seems that he can only improve his physical strength and talent. Chapter 41 Wu Yandan, an earthly evil secret. Looking at the steps above that seemed like a chasm across the sky. Chen Mo suddenly took out a body-tempering pill and swallowed it. Boom! After the pill entered his stomach, Chen Mo felt his body suddenly shaken, and a strong and violent power burst out of his body. He felt as if something was struggling to break through in his body. Then his blood began to boil, and his muscles became tight and strong. The effect of this pill was somewhat similar to the blood and ki pill he had swallowed before, but it was also somewhat different. The blood and ki pill simply increased the blood and ki in the body. The body-tempering pill, on the other hand, was a pill that improved the physical talent and increased the physical strength. Its effect was 10 times more violent than the blood and ki pill. Almost at the moment of swallowing the pill, Chen Mo felt that his physical body was undergoing a rapid transformation. He could feel that his physical talent was increasing and his strength was getting stronger and stronger. But the corresponding side effect was that his body was bursting with pain. At this moment, Chen Mo felt that his body muscles were torn apart by something alive, and he couldn't help but scream in pain. Then a force was generated in his body to force the torn muscles and bones to heal together. The huge pressure brought to Chen Mo by the inheritance ladder was to quickly bring out the effect of the body-tempering pill in his body. Chen Mo felt that his body was getting stronger and stronger as it was constantly torn and healed. I didn't expect that the effect of the body-tempering pill was so strong. This caught him off guard. Chen Mo gritted his teeth tightly, endured the severe pain and waited for the effect of the body-tempering pill to pass. Time passed slowly. Chen Mo stood on the 59th step, enduring the severe pain and waiting for the transformation of his body. 1 day later, Chen Mo went from the severe pain at the beginning to the gradual numbness and adaptation. His body became stronger and stronger. Only then could he relieve a little of his mind to think about something. In the message Han Feng sent him at the beginning, he did not remind him to prepare the body-tempering pill or other body-refining pills, including the storage bracelet of the group of people he robbed from Jiangchang No. 1 Middle School. Only one person brought the body-tempering pill. It seems that either the people who first entered the secret realm have not figured it out, or someone thinks that this ancient inheritance is not very helpful with the power of elixirs. In addition to the high cost of elixirs such as the tempering pill, the violent pain after swallowing it is not something that ordinary people can bear. Chen Mo learned through the way of wishing that taking the tempering pill can help him reach the 60th level and obtain the Wu Yandan reward. And Chen Mo has another guess, that is, he does have a very high physical talent. The tempering pill is just to completely stimulate Chen Mo's physical talent under the pressure of the Wu Shen sex inheritance ladder. While thinking about the internal logic of this, Chen Mo waited for the complete transformation of his physical body. About 2 hours later, Chen Mo's physical transformation after taking the tempering pill this time finally ended. At this moment, his originally ordinary appearance exuded a powerful aura. He felt that his physical talent had been greatly improved, as if he could easily surpass the existing limit. This increase in power made him extremely excited. Chen Mo's eyes flashed with excitement. Boom! He took a step and reached the 60th stone step. The pressure on Chen Mo increased again. This time, he estimated that the pressure on his body was 10,000 kilograms. But he still had some strength left. This powerful feeling made him a little excited. At this time, the mysterious and ancient aura that enveloped Chen Mo on the stone steps suddenly surged again. A mysterious black mist suddenly emerged from the mysterious symbol on the inheritance ladder and quickly enveloped Chen Mo. Chen Mo's figure could no longer be seen outside. What is this for? Protection for geniuses. Looking at the black mist surrounding him, Chen Mo was surprised. At this moment, the black mist surged, and two things suddenly condensed in front of him. A thumb-sized blue-gray pill. A palm-sized blue tile stone piece. The reward for passing the 60th step ladder has arrived. Looking at the two things that appeared in front of him, Chen Mo's heart moved. He actually wanted to take both things, but found that he couldn't move them at all. Finally, he grabbed the blue-gray pill Wu Yandan with a little regret. This is the pill he was going to give to Han Feng to replenish his essence and extend his life for 10 years. Without Han Feng, he would not have the opportunity to enter the secret realm this time. Therefore, Wu Yandan is a must-have for him on this trip. After getting Wu Yandan, Chen Mo continued to climb the inheritance ladder. After this, with a previous experience, his steps became more and more stable. He knew that if his steps stagnated, he would only stay where he was. Whenever he reached his limit, he began to swallow the body-quenching pill, using the pressure of the inheritance ladder to accelerate the refining of the body-quenching pill and open up the talent deep in his body. Time passed day by day. Later, Chen Mo even took out a bloodline beast meat from his storage wrist and ate it raw. The bloodline beast meat had helped to exchange blood at the blood refining level before, and it contained rich spiritual blood factors. After swallowing a large amount of bloodline beast meat, it could also increase Chen Mo's physical strength to a certain extent. The deadline of 1 month was getting closer and closer. Almost all the people who were trying to seize the secret blood refining medicine outside came to the inheritance ladder to make a living. On the 4th day of Chen Mo's climbing the ladder, Chen Mo looked back and found that a few people and Song Yan had finally passed the 60th step of the ladder. Just after they passed the 60th step of the ladder, they were also shrouded in a mysterious black mist like himself, and then disappeared. This made Chen Mo breathe a sigh of relief. It seems that this inheritance ladder does have a protection mechanism for geniuses. In this way, he doesn't have to worry about others seeing the steps he climbed and coveting his gains here. On the 6th day of climbing the ladder, Chen Mo passed the 70th step and inherited a body-refining boxing technique. It's called Battle Demon. Using this boxing technique can double his physical strength in battle. On the 10th day, Chen Mo passed the 80th step. This time he gained a body-refining technique, Earth Demon Art. This is a body-refining technique passed down by the Wuxian sect, which can be cultivated to the realm of the 7th level Wu Yuan. Wu Bing is the realm title of the Wuxian sect's body-refining lineage. Starting from the 1st level of body-refining barbarian warrior, there are 1st level barbarian warrior, 2nd level barbarian soldier, 3rd level barbarian general, 4th level barbarian witch, 5th level minor witch, 6th level witch soldier, and 7th level Wu Yuan. The latter realms have exceeded the description of the earthly evil art. However, Chen Mo compared the inheritance of the earthly evil art and knew that this technique was very extraordinary. It was a very widely circulated technique in the ancient body refining lineage. If you cultivate to the peak of the 7th level Wu Yuan, you will have the strongest combat power below the immortal. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42, 9-Turn Golden Body Technique. I want to become the most powerful immortal. Day 17. Chen Mo finally swallowed all the body-hardening pills, marrow-cleansing pills, bloodline meat, blood ganoderma and many other body-hardening and blood-refining secret medicines on his body. These days, he used the mysterious pressure of the inheritance ladder to completely melt the effects of these many secret medicines into one. He completely activated his physical talent and went through 4 marrow cleansing, blood changing and blood refining levels to become a master of the 4 innate refinements. At this moment, Chen Mo felt that his body was expanding with endless power. His body was like a dragon in his movements, and the blood smoke was more like a dragon smoke that rushed straight into the sky, more than 9 feet high. After 4 marrow cleansing and blood changing, the blood in his body was like mercury slurry with a hint of light gold. Only the last blood refining would give birth to the immortal bone. Chen Mo suddenly opened his eyes and looked at the last 2 stone steps. His eyes showed a firm look. Let me see what the greatest inheritance of this secret realm is. Boom. Then, Chen Mo took a step under the pressure of tens of thousands of pounds. Boom. Suddenly, the entire inheritance ladder shook, and the symbols on all the stone steps flashed with mysterious aura. The 99th step of the ladder arrived. Chen Mo's mind suddenly shook. A huge amount of complicated information poured in. 9-turn golden body art. After a full cup of tea, Chen Mo finally accepted the inheritance reward. It turned out that as long as you can climb the 99th step of the ladder of the Wushan sect, you can obtain the Wushan sect's top-level body refining inheritance, the 9-turn golden body art that can make the body holy. However, there are only the first 3 levels of inheritance here, and it is unknown where to find the subsequent inheritance. But even the first level of the 9-turn golden body art starts at the level of the 7th level of body refining Wu Yong. The 3rd level even reaches the realm of true witches, and the body is comparable to that of true immortals. Body refining true immortal inheritance. Chen Mo's mind fell into a long shock. I'm afraid no one would have thought that in this newly discovered secret realm, there is actually a true immortal inheritance of body refining. This will definitely be the greatest fortune on his road to immortal cultivation. Although Blue Star has now obtained many immortal cultivation techniques, and the immortal civilization is thriving, there are only a few techniques that can be cultivated to the immortal realm. And there is no technique that can be cultivated to the body refining immortal realm. Chen Mo clenched his fists excitedly. This time he is really going to make a fortune. Not only did he get the earth evil art before, but now he also got the 9 turns golden body art. Chen Mo made a decision almost instantly. After leaving the secret realm this time, the Federation will definitely ask them to hand in the inheritance. This is a condition that has been agreed in advance. He can hand in the earth evil art in the future, which can not only deal with the above, but also exchange for a large number of Blue Star contribution points. The 9 turns golden body art will become his bottom of box technique. When he has the strength to protect himself one day, he can decide whether to hand in the 9 turns golden body art according to the situation. It's not that Chen Mo is selfish and timid. It's that although the current Blue Star Federation is powerful, there are also many groups and sects within it. If they knew that Chen Mo had the immortal realm body refining inheritance, even if the Blue Star Federation and the Central Array Spirit Computer monitored and protected him 24 hours a day, they would not be able to protect Chen Mo. After making a decision in his heart, Chen Mo set his sights on the last stone step. The 99th step had already obtained the most core inheritance of the Wushan sect. What would this last step be? With strong curiosity and expectation in his heart, Chen Mo suddenly took the last step and climbed onto the 100th stone platform. But just when Chen Mo landed 1 foot on the 100th stone platform, a pressure from the wild mountain suddenly pressed down on him. In an instant, Chen Mo's bones were oppressed and made a creaking sound. This was the sound of his body being dislocated and rubbing against each other because his body could not bear this weight. It's so heavy, he felt that he would be crushed into a meat pie if he continued. Do you want to give up? It's not broken yet, I can bear it. At this moment, countless thoughts flashed through Chen Mo's mind like lightning. No. There was a burning flame in his eyes. Keep going. Thinking of me, Chen Mo, I was ordinary in my last life, standing in the mud and looking up at others every day. In this life, I am ordinary again and become a waste without spiritual roots. It's not easy. God gave me a golden finger. How can you give up so easily? I want to cultivate immortality. I want to become an immortal. Become the most powerful immortal. I am not a waste who only relies on the golden finger to cultivate immortality. I must have an indomitable spirit and belief. This inheritance ladder can't crush me. Go. At this moment, Chen Mo thought of all the unbearable memories in the past. He completely burned up the grievances, unwillingness, and unsatisfactory emotions in the past, and turned them into a strong belief in cultivating immortality in this life. Bang! The last step. Puff. Chen Mo, under the pressure of a wild mountain, finally took the last step and climbed to the top of the inheritance ladder. At this time, he climbed to the 100th step, and he could no longer hold back a mouthful of blood because his gums had been bitten by the pressure. Ha ha ha. Standing on the steps at the top, the pressure that was like a mountain suddenly dissipated. Chen Mo grinned, revealing his bloody teeth, and couldn't help laughing. I've climbed up. Chen Mo stood on the inheritance ladder, and the entire square inheritance ladder shook suddenly. The people still standing on the ladder suddenly felt a pressure coming, and they trembled on the ladder. At this time, everything on the entire ladder was visible to Chen Mo. In addition to him, the person who climbed the highest on the ladder was a student from number 1 middle school who climbed to the 78th step. Then there were people on the 74th, 73rd, 70th, 69th, 67th, 56th, 48th, and 38th steps. Song Yihan actually climbed to the 70th step. Li Wu climbed to the 61st step. Is this the treatment for climbing the highest inheritance ladder? Being able to see through the hidden fog of the ladder. Chen Mo sighed and waited quietly for the reward in front of him to appear. At this time, the mysterious black fog in front of him seemed to be communicating with some mysterious existence. After half an hour, a small piece of gourd vine-like thing finally condensed. This section of gourd vine is about half a foot long. The vine is as vigorous as a dragon, revealing a wild and ancient mysterious atmosphere. Chen Mo took the gourd vine curiously. Suddenly, a sense of induction appeared in his mind. Xiantian gourd vine. The secret treasure inherited by the Wuxian sect. After refining, the source of life in the body is innately improved, which can bring back the dead, invulnerable to all diseases, and irreversible to all injuries. It can also lay the foundation for the body to defy the heavens. It is the supreme secret medicine for practicing the 9 transformations of the golden body. After receiving the information in his mind, Chen Mo thought about it for a while. Almost without any pause, he stuffed this small section of the innate gourd vine directly into his mouth, chewed it and swallowed it into his stomach. He began to try to activate the method of refining spiritual objects in the 9 transformations of the golden body to refine it. This kind of heaven-defying spiritual object, he would never let another person have the opportunity to see it. The best way is to refine it directly. Even if you leave the secret realm, you can't deduce it with the central Hongmeng array spirit computer. This will be the heaven-defying foundation for his rise in body cultivation. Chapter 43 Return to the Secret Realm. Time passed slowly. Chen Mo's consciousness was completely immersed in the practice of refining the innate gourd vine, and he no longer paid attention to the surrounding situation. Others either continued to try to climb higher steps, or stayed on the existing steps to try to digest the rewards of this trial. On this day, a burst of green light suddenly appeared in the Wuxian mysterious realm. Then, a small miniature jade plate that Chen Mo and his companions had worn in advance was quickly lit up and began to vibrate slowly. When Chen Mo left the state of cultivation and noticed something unusual, the small miniature jade plate on his body had already emitted a soft green light that enveloped him, wrapping him up and quickly escaping from the Wuxian mysterious realm. It's time to leave the secret realm. Chen Mo reacted. When he opened his eyes again, he had already appeared at the first valley formation. Olju was still squatting quietly beside the formation as he had seen last time, not saying much. Surrounding him were more than 100 people who had entered the secret realm with him. Qin Meng and other team leaders saw Chen Mo and his team and hurriedly went to meet them, their eyes showing a hint of excitement and impatience. Hey, why are there 2 people missing from our number 5 middle school? What happened in the secret realm? At this time, a teacher in charge counted the number of people and a worried and urgent voice sounded. Hearing this, all the students participating in the secret realm shook their heads and said they didn't understand. Seeing this, the leader of the number 5 middle school suddenly became very ugly. These are all genius students in the innate realm. It's a big deal to lose 1, let alone 2. Although they were prepared for the accident during their first exploration of the secret realm. But when something really happened to them, it would be hard for anyone to feel. Let's go back to Jiangcheng. Let's talk about it when we get back. After seeing that the 11 people from Jiangcheng number 3 middle school were fine, Qin Meng led them to leave here with a little excitement. Chen Mo nodded and hurriedly caught up with the team and returned to the original route. On the train, the return was not as quiet as the return. Some students began to discuss their discoveries and gains on this trip. Chen Mo was still sitting in the same corner, silently sorting out his gains in his mind. 1 month into the secret realm, his cultivation level had broken through from perfect internal energy to the master of the 4th level of innate refinement. He only needed the last blood refinement to give birth to the Immortal Bone. His ice and water realm had reached great perfection, and his storm sword intent had achieved minor perfection. He had inherited a body-refining combat method called War Demon that could double his physical strength in battle. A complete body-refining inheritance called Earth Evil Art, which could be cultivated to the 7th level Wu Yuan, with the strongest combat power below the Immortal. The first 3 levels of 9 turn Golden Body Art, the top-level body-refining secret of the Immortal level. The secret method of Wu Ling wine and other rare items were harvested. In addition to the innate gourd vine he refined, there were also Wu Yandan, 15 red gold ants, dozens of red gold antigs, spirit monkey wine, rock peaches, and some spiritual fruits. Counting the harvest, Chen Mo sighed in his heart that the harvest on this trip was really too great, and it was impossible to estimate it with the value of spirit stones. It was a pity that the time was too short. Chen Mo had not had time to explore many places in the secret realm. However, he had obtained the most important body-refining inheritance in the secret realm, so it didn't matter if he didn't get some other resources. He ate the meat, so he had to leave some soup for the people who came in later. A month had passed, and he didn't know what was happening with Wu Yong and Chen Yuan. And Zhou Yan, how was the progress of the people she had to pay attention to? After returning from the secret realm, many of his plans would begin to unfold. Next, Chen Mo had a brief exchange with Song Yihan and Li Wu in the carriage. Soon the train returned to Jiangchang City. After getting off the train, all the personnel, led by the team leader, went directly to the largest library in Jiangchang City. There, the highest level of secret rooms had been opened, connected to the central Hongmeng Array spirit computer, waiting for their harvest from the secret realm this time. When Chen Mo silently followed the team on the way to the library, Qin Meng suddenly approached him, patted his shoulder gently, and said with a smile, "Chen Mo, how was the harvest from the secret realm this time?" Chen Mo didn't know what the purpose of the head teacher of this class suddenly talking to him was, so he just replied politely, "It should be okay, I have gained something." Qin Meng smiled. "It's good to have gained something. I'm a straightforward person, so there's no need to introduce myself. I saw your assessment with Liu Hai, and you have a good understanding of the artistic conception. Do you want to come to our Class 1? I will personally take you, and Class 1 has a lot of resources, which will help you improve the quality of your immortal bones." After seeing that Qin Meng was here to recruit him to Class 1, Chen Mo breathed a sigh of relief. He nodded and explained with a smile, "Thank you for your appreciation, Teacher Qin, but I will be a senior in the 3rd year soon. I'm used to staying in our class too and I won't change classes." He really hadn't considered changing classes. If he didn't have the golden finger, he would be ecstatic about such a good thing. Because Class 1 is the top class in number 3 middle school, it is true that the class receives more overall resources, but for him now, those things don't even make him want to take a look. Hearing Chen Mo's answer, Qin Meng didn't get angry, he just said casually, "Okay, think about it, kid. If you want to come, our Class 1 welcomes you at any time." For him, seeing the Pingshan strategy written by Chen Mo at the beginning and his sword intention was indeed somewhat appreciated. In the spirit of promoting the younger generation, he could also disgust Su Cheng who was not on good terms with him, adding some fun. If Chen Mo really didn't want to, he would not have tied Chen Mo up and gone there. Soon, everyone, led by the teacher, came to a high-level secret room in the Jiangcheng library to report on the situation of the secret realm learned during this trip. There is a central array spirit computer encrypted monitoring in the secret room to ensure the safety and privacy of the students. Everyone reported very quickly. After half an hour, it was Chen Mo's turn. Chen Mo walked into the secret room, and outside of a high-level array spirit computer, there was only a middle-aged man who looked very elegant sitting next to it to preside over the meeting. Chen Mo, ID card LX 43,525,895,464,555 XT, the middle-aged man said gently. "Yes." Chen Mo nodded. "Well, in accordance with the Blue Star Citizen Privacy Law and the previously signed regulations on entering the secret realm, whatever is gained from the secret realm belongs to the students themselves. The inheritance of the secret realm's related skills and the maps of the secret realm that have been explored need to be uploaded to the central array spirit computer for recording. If it is discovered that the inheritance is concealed, it will be sanctioned, punished and hunted down by the laws of the Blue Star Federation. For the inheritance handed in, The central array spirit computer will issue corresponding rewards according to the value. Are you clear about all this? The middle-aged man looked into Chen Mo's eyes and said clearly. Clear. Chen Mo responded briefly. Okay, next, you connect to the computer and upload the information and inheritance you have explored to the computer. After the middle-aged man finished speaking, he pointed to a palm-sized light wave recognition consciousness interface touchscreen next to the computer. This is a new generation of products extended from the first generation of brain-computer interface. As long as people touch their limbs on the light wave touchscreen, they can freely control their consciousness to upload. The computer cannot read the consciousness of others without their consent. This is somewhat similar to the role of the inheritance jade slips in the world of immortal cultivation, but it is more convenient for most ordinary people to use, and it can also save the materials of the jade slips. Chen Mo pressed his palm on the light wave touch screen. Soon, the consciousness upload began. When uploading, Chen Mo blocked the information involving his own secrets, such as the secret recipe of the Wuling wine, the innate gourd vine, and the 9 turns golden body sutra. He only uploaded the consciousness and inheritance such as the Wu Yan Den, the battle monster, and the earth evil sutra. Chapter 44 Reward, Clues to the Soul Refining Method. 10 breaths later. The upload was complete. Then, a reward from the system of the array spirit computer came into Chen Mo's mind. According to citizen Chen Mo, ID card LX 43,525,895,464,555 XT, you have contributed the battle demon boxing method and are rewarded with 400 library points. According to citizen Chen Mo, ID card LX 43,525,895,464,555 XT, you have contributed the complete body refining inheritance of Earth Evil Art to supplement a Blue Star body refining cultivation system, and are rewarded with 600 library points, and the library will have the opportunity to select any immortal cultivation method below the Federation True Fairyland. After receiving these 2 messages, Chen Mo withdrew his hand from the consciousness interface of the light wave recognition. Okay. At this time, the middle-aged man nodded to Chen Mo and said. Throughout the whole process, he only played a role of hosting and supervising. He didn't know what inheritance and reward Chen Mo had received. This was also a protection measure for Chen Mo and others' privacy and security. In the future, the central array spirit computer will arrange the corresponding reading rights of the library according to the inheritance submitted by Chen Mo and others according to the situation. Chen Mo nodded silently and left the library with a very calm look. In fact, he was very happy in his heart. It was really like a pillow was given to him when he was sleepy. The rewards given by the central array spirit computer are indeed the fairest. He handed in a 7th level body refining inheritance, and the central array spirit computer rewarded him with a chance to choose a 7th level cultivation technique. Whether it was the 1000 library points or the chance to choose a technique below the true immortal realm, it was a huge gain for him. You have to know that the reason why everyone wants to be admitted to the university's cultivation department is to obtain the superior cultivation inheritance and some cultivation resources provided by the Federation. Now, Chen Mo has a true immortal level body refining inheritance and a chance to choose a 7th level cultivation technique. In terms of cultivation, he only needs to obtain the top level spiritual cultivation inheritance. As for resources, he is not worried about the existence of the golden finger. I wonder if I can get the top-level spiritual cultivation technique by making a wish now. Chen Mo left the library and began to ponder in his heart. When he first cultivated the artistic conception, he once secretly wished to obtain a spiritual technique, but the way to achieve it was too difficult. Try it again now. Make a wish. I want to know how to obtain the spiritual cultivation method as quickly as possible. The information of this world is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. A stream of information instantly flooded into his mind. Path 1. 50 days later, go to Mars and kill Zuhan outside the Barad Sword Valley to obtain a Jinden-level soul refining method. Path 2. 130 days later, go to the Blue Star Ancestor City and participate in the auction of the Blue Star 1 Bayo Pavilion to obtain a foundation-building soul refining method. Path 3. 3 years later, the ruins of the Falling Star Valley in the Blood Netherworld will erupt. Go to the Falling Star Valley to obtain the soul refining method of the 10,000 Stars Yanshin Sutra from the True Immortals collection. Huh? After reading the news in his mind, Chen Mo was a little surprised. This time, When he made a wish, Path 1 actually mentioned the buried Sword Valley, and the time was 50 days later. As long as he killed a person named Zuhan, he could obtain a Jinden-level soul refining method. This made Chen Mo's heart move. He did not forget that when he made his first wish after crossing over to cultivate a first-grade Immortal Bone, the Golden Finger mentioned the buried Sword Valley. Go to the buried Sword Valley on Mars, polish the sword for 18 years and you can get the first-grade Immortal Bone. It seems that the buried Sword Valley is definitely not simple 50 days later, it is only about 2 months from now. Maybe I can go there and give it a try. As for the hint of the second path, Chen Mo considered it and directly ruled it out. First, it takes too long, more than 4 months, and second, the level of the technique is too low. With a golden elixir level soul refining method in front, he can no longer look down on the foundation building stage. Chen Mo was jealous of the true immortal ruins of the Falling Star Valley mentioned in the third path. However, he knew very well that with his current strength, going there was no difference from sending himself to death. 3 years later, if his strength has greatly improved, he can make a wish at that time. Chen Mo quickly analyzed the path of this wish in his mind. Half an hour later, he finally returned to his home. Since he did not notify his family after leaving the secret realm, he was the only one at home at this time. Chen Mo went home and laid down to take a nap to relax a little. After getting up, seeing that Chen Yuan had not returned yet, he sent a message to his family, informing them that he had returned from the secret realm. Then, Chen Mo began to log on to the Star Network and contact Dan Chenzi. Chen Mo did not forget Han Feng's kindness for having such a great harvest this time. So he immediately contacted Dan Chenzi to trade the longevity pill. After a while, through the contact information Dan Chenzi left on the Star Network, Chen Mo successfully contacted the other party. Do you really have the red goldent? At this time, in an elegant and quiet courtyard in the ancestral city, the old Taoist Dan Chenzi, who was originally controlling the fire to refine the elixir, paused when he heard the news about the red goldent, and confirmed with Chen Mo in the mobile phone video with great surprise. That's right. Chen Mo nodded confidently. After that, he also sent the picture of the red goldent he had taken before to the other party. That's right. It's the red goldent. Seeing the photo sent by Chen Mo, Dan Chenzi nodded suddenly. Then he asked excitedly, where are you now? Do you have the red goldent? I'm at number 258, Linjiang Road, Langxingjiang City. I have the thing, but I need the longevity pill to trade. Chen Mo told his address and request. Dan Chenzi nodded when he heard it. Okay, my friend, wait for me there, I'll be there soon. After saying that, Dan Chenzi hurriedly shouted to the courtyard, Disciple, I'm going out for a while, you take care of this furnace of pills. An hour later, in a tea house along the river, Chen Mo smiled and took out a beast-taming ring containing the red goldent and handed it to Dan Chenzi for inspection. This is a live red goldent, master, can you check it? I need to trade it for 3 10-year longevity pills. Chen Mo handed over the beast-taming ring and slowly stated his request. Dan Chenzi took the beast-taming ring and looked at it, his expression full of surprise. It is indeed the red goldent, the descendant of the sky-horndent. Now he has finally started to try to refine the ancient recipe. 10 years ago, Dan Chenzi obtained a mysterious ancient recipe called Power God Pill. But this recipe requires other spiritual medicine materials, which he has found, but the main ingredient of the red goldent is missing, which has been delayed until now. Now that he has obtained the red goldent, Dan Chenzi is very happy. He excitedly opened the beast control ring to check. Only 9. Dan Chenzi said with a little regret. 9 red goldents can't be exchanged for 3 10-year longevity pills. Dan Chenzi shook his head. Although he was eager to get the red goldent, he was not a fool. You know, it is not easy to refine a longevity pill that can extend life for 10 years. This is almost Dan Chenzi's signature pill, and countless spiritual medicines are used. How many does the master want? Chen Mo asked. He prepared 3 longevity pills for Han Feng and his parents. He doesn't want even one less. Chapter 45, Trading the Life-Extending Pill. Dan Chenzi estimated in his mind and said, 27 red goldents, this is the minimum requirement I can give. Chen Mo shook his head. I don't have so many red goldents. But I can tell you where the red goldents come from. After hearing Chen Mo's words, Dan Chenzi looked at Chen Mo for a few times, guessing Chen Mo's identity and the source of the red goldents. He thought, with his status in the alchemy of Blue Star, he had not heard of the news of the red gold ants in the entire world belonging to Blue Star. Where did this kid get them from? He was hesitating whether he needed to use some connections to find out Chen Mo's background. But as a top-level alchemist of the third level of Blue Star, Dan Chenzi concluded that there was a truth in his heart. If an alchemist wants to make pills safely, the best way is to only make pills without involving other things, and the required materials for the pills can be traded fairly, or handed over to the employer. Otherwise, there will inevitably be accidents. If this kid can really tell him the origin of the red gold ants, he won't have to worry about the source of the red gold ants in the future. But although the Power God pill is mysterious, he has never refined it. It's really a big cost for him to spend 3 longevity pills at once. It's a huge loss. Dan Chenzi was a little tangled in his heart. After Chen Mo finished speaking, he observed Dan Chenzi with his eyes and seemed to see the hesitation in his eyes. At this time, he was also weighing things quickly in his heart. This time he caught 15 red gold ants and brought them back. His original plan was to keep 6 red gold ants and dozens of ant eggs for later cultivation and research. But now it seems that it is unlikely for the other party to exchange 9 red gold ants for 3 longevity pills. But the red gold ants in the witch god's mysterious realm will be known to the other party sooner or later as time goes by. And he was a little curious about why Dan Chenzi spent such a huge price to buy red gold ants. In this case, he might as well maximize the effect. Thinking of this, Chen Mo made a decision quickly and added, "Master Dan, let's do this. I will pay 12 red gold ants and 10 red gold ant eggs, and tell you where the red gold ants come from. But you have to tell me the name and function of the elixir that the red gold ants use to refine." Hearing Chen Mo's last request, Dan Chenzi thought about it and finally agreed. "Okay, in that case, I agree to this deal." After saying that, he took out a jade bottle from his storage ring, carefully poured out 3 longevity pills from it and put them in an empty jade bottle. "I'm sure you know how to use the longevity pill. But each person is limited to taking 1 pill of this pill, and more is useless." Dan Chenzi reminded him in case Chen Mo didn't know. Chen Mo saw that the longevity pill was milky white in appearance and the size of a longan. He nodded and replied, "Well, thank you, Master Dan." After saying that, he took the pill and carefully packed it, and gave him another 3 red gold ants and 10 ant eggs. He also told Dan Chenzi the location of the red gold ants in the Wuxian mysterious realm. Thus, the transaction between the two parties was successfully concluded. Dan Chenzi took the things in Chen Mo's hand, showing a satisfied look, and explained, "I need the red gold ants to refine an ancient pill called Power God Pill. It is said that this pill can break the limit of human strength after taking it. But the specific effect will be known after the pill is refined." Chen Mo nodded. He smiled and said, "Okay, then when the master refines the pill, remember to leave 1 for me. I am very interested in this Power God Pill." "Okay, okay." Dan Chenzi agreed, and after chatting with Chen Mo for a few words, he said goodbye to Chen Mo and couldn't wait to go back to study the Power God Pill. After Dan Chenzi left, Chen Mo couldn't help but show a hint of excitement in his eyes. "Now that I have obtained the 3 longevity pills, I have also obtained clues about the Power God Pill. Breaking the limit of human strength, isn't this a pill specially prepared for body refining? I wonder if making a wish can directly parse out the recipe. Let's try. Make a wish. I want to know how to get the recipe of the Power God Pill." This world's information is being parsed, and the wish is being parsed. A stream of complicated information instantly flooded into his mind. Way 1. Kill Dan Chenzi and get a jade GUI from his stored ring. The recipe of the Power God Pill is recorded in this jade GUI. Way 2. Become a 3rd-level alchemist. Buy red gold ants, earth dragon seeds, 10,000 year stone, 1,000 ancestor wood, emperor slurry, jade liquid, 7-leaf star, etc. After 100,000 times of refining and calculation, the recipe of the Power God Pill can be deduced. After digesting the information in his mind, Chen Mo couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. There are only 2 ways, and almost none of them are what he can achieve now. It seems that this golden finger will only give him the way of wishing. Just like the method, it is impossible to know the recipe directly out of thin air by making a wish. No matter what, let's wait until Dan Chenzi refines the Power God Pill. With a longevity pill in hand, I also have the Wu Yan pill. Now I can repay the kindness of teacher Han Feng. Chen Mo immediately took out his mobile phone to contact Han Feng. After learning his address, Chen Mo rushed over as soon as possible. 10 minutes later, Chen Mo rushed to Han Feng's house. The first time he saw Chen Mo, Han Feng's eyes lit up and he couldn't help but admired. Good boy, the breath of true energy is endless, the spirit is hidden in the energy, and the power is endless. You are, how many innate refinements? Chen Mo smiled shyly and explained, I have to thank Teacher Han for giving me this opportunity. I have won many opportunities in the secret realm. Now I have reached the 4th level of innate refinement. 4th level of innate refinement. Really good. Hearing this, Han Feng's expression moved, and he couldn't help but praise again. Sit down first. After speaking, he poured a glass of water and handed it to Chen Mo and joked. You came to me right after you came out of the secret realm. You're not here to show off to me, are you? Chen Mo took a sip of water and put the cup on the table. How dare I do that? I got something in the secret realm this time and want to give it to Teacher Han. After saying that, Chen Mo immediately took out 2 jade bottles containing Wu Yandan and Yan Shoudan from his storage wrist and handed them over. What are those? Han Feng took the jade bottles curiously, opened one of the jade bottles and took a closer look, and was immediately shocked. Yan Shoudan. Where did you get the Yan Shoudan refined by Master Dan Chenzi? At this point, he stared at Chen Mo with a serious face and asked seriously. He knew Chen Mo's family background, and it was impossible for him to afford such a precious Yan Shoudan, which was a magical pill that could extend life for 10 years. How many practitioners were trapped by the life limit and stopped before breaking through the bottleneck, and could only watch themselves die of old age? Especially those key training level 9 cultivators who have lived to their 80s or 90s, because their deadline has come, they have lost their last chance to impact the foundation. If they can get a longevity pill, they may make a last attempt. This is what I got from the secret realm, and I traded it with Master Dan Chenzi. Give it to you, teacher, you can use it with confidence. Chen Mo explained with a smile, and briefly told Han Feng about his experience in the Wuxian secret realm. Chapter 46, Immortals on Earth. After listening to Chen Mo's story, Han Feng was relieved and a little envious. It was a pity that he was born decades earlier. If he had been born after the deduction of the 108 body tempering techniques, his life would have been different. Han Feng carefully plugged the bottle of the longevity pill and pushed it back to Chen Mo, saying with a little regret, your teacher has received your kindness, but it's a pity that you don't know that the teacher was seriously injured in the blood nether realm and lost the source of life. It's not just the 10 years of life that can be compensated by a longevity pill. Chen Mo did not take the pill that Han Feng pushed back, and explained with a smile. Teacher Han, don't be anxious, take a look at the other bottle. One longevity pill won't work. If you add this Wu Yandan from the Wu Shen sect, it will definitely work. After saying that, Chen Mo pointed at the Wu Yandan and explained it to Han Feng emphatically. Hearing this, Han Feng's dead heart suddenly gave birth to a ray of hope. If his source injury can really be made up, then he may have the hope of continuing to fight for the foundation. Finally, Han Feng's eyes lit up with fighting spirit. He said in a slightly excited voice, okay, in this case, then the teacher will not be polite to you. Han Feng carefully put away the 2 pills. Suddenly, he remembered the news he received from his friend on the battlefield a few days ago. It was also an opportunity for Chen Mo to fight for it, so he took this opportunity to tell Chen Mo so that he would have a bottom line in his heart. So, he said slowly, Chen Mo, now you have achieved a great state of mind, and your cultivation has reached the 4th level of blood refining. You will soon be able to give birth to immortal bones. I wonder if you have any thoughts about the future. Chen Mo heard this, thought for a while and replied, I want to be admitted to the top star university in Blue Star, and then go to various worlds to fight for a chance to step into the immortal way. Han Feng nodded. Yes, the normal way. With your current foundation, it will be no problem for you to enter the cultivation department of the top universities in the Federation. If you can cultivate a first-grade immortal bone, then Starry Sky University will also be no problem. At this point, he paused, and then continued, have you considered developing in the military? The military. Chen Mo looked at Han Feng in confusion. Yes, the situation of our Blue Star in the Blood Underworld is not optimistic now. The Blood Underworld is preparing to select a group of real geniuses from high schools and universities to train them separately. I hope that these people can become the backbone of our Blue Star entering the Blood Underworld in 100 years. The school may announce this news when the next semester starts. If you have this idea, you can compete. Hearing this, Chen Mo's heart was aroused with a hint of interest. He knew that the past cultivation education on Blue Star continued the previous education system, with a teaching system of 3 years in junior high school, 3 years in high school, and 20 years in college. In 2096, if you want to join the military, you usually have to be admitted to a special military training university, or pass an assessment after graduating from university. I have never heard of the military directly selecting talents from high schools and universities for individual training. Oh, I don't know much about the military in the Blood Underworld. What is the specific situation? Teacher Han, can you tell me more about it? Seeing that Chen Mo was interested, Han Feng did not hide what he knew and explained it to Chen Mo. It is said that the minimum requirement for the military to select talents this time is at least second-grade immortal bones or above, or geniuses with 2 or more spiritual roots. The geniuses selected this time will not enter the university's cultivation department for further study, but will first go to the Mars Star Sky University for a 2-month adaptation trial. After 2 months, they will go directly to the Blood Underworld battlefield and enter the battlefield for special training. Hearing this, Chen Mo couldn't help but interrupt it out of curiosity. Teacher, after 2 months, we will at most be a group of key training rookies and cannon fodder. What can we do in the Blood Underworld? Han Feng shook his head and said to Chen Mo seriously, don't understand a 9th level cultivation world based on our current cultivation environment on Blue Star. Although it is dangerous there, the cultivation speed in the higher world is also much faster. Otherwise, how can our Blue Star develop to this level in just nearly 100 years of recovery? First, it relies on the recovery of spiritual energy. We on Blue Star have deciphered many ancient top-level Taoist inheritances. Secondly, scientific and technological civilization has developed to a high level. The combination of science and technology and cultivation has saved us countless time for comprehending the Tao and created many powerful scientific weapons for fighting cross-level enemies. Third, we have discovered the 9th level world, the Blood Underworld. The cultivation resources and world rules there are completely beyond our imagination. As a 9th level world of cultivation, the Blood Underworld has high-level spiritual veins, high-level cultivation resources, and many creatures with true immortal blood in all major domains. Thousands of races compete with each other, and thousands of immortals compete to cross over. The speed of cultivation is 10 times, 100 times, or even faster than that of Blue Star. Speaking of this, Han Feng's eyes contained a hint of sigh. Practicing key, building foundation, golden elixir, nascent soul, each of these realms can take decades, or even hundreds or thousands of years. If a person wants to become an immortal, in addition to the resources of the skills and the spiritual root of understanding, the biggest obstacle is actually time. Compete with God for life, compete with geniuses for luck. Only by doing all these can there be continuous hope of advancing to the next realm. If you are trained by the military in the Blood Nether realm, geniuses like you can save a lot of time and quickly rise and break through. As Han Feng narrated, Chen Mo's mind solved some doubts, but also gave rise to more doubts. If that's the case, why don't we on Blue Star allow more people to enter the Blood Nether realm, so that wouldn't our high-level practitioners be born faster? Listening to Chen Mo's doubts, Han Feng smiled and shook his head. Just a simple explanation. I don't know the details very well, but I do know that our current high-end strength is limited, and the number of people who can enter is limited. If everyone enters, they might be exterminated. The world there is conscious, and the Blue Star civilization is just a Federation civilization, and there are some dirty things going on inside. Han Feng seemed to see more confusion in Chen Mo's eyes, and explained to himself. Don't think too highly of me. After all, I'm just a small key training cultivator. I don't know the details either, and you don't have the authority to understand some of the information. If you are really interested, wait until your strength improves and then ask the military for information when the next semester starts. Of course, if you can't cultivate a second grade or higher immortal bone by then, you don't have to consider these. Chen Mo nodded and asked a question that was hidden in his heart when he traveled through time, that is, in less than 100 years, did an immortal really appear on Blue Star? Teacher, do we really have immortals on Blue Star? Han Feng nodded. Yes, I saw it with my own eyes in the Blood Underworld. An immortal cut off thousands of mountains with one sword. Chapter 47 Planning. On the way back from Han Feng's house, Chen Mo has been thinking. His original plan was to enter the Starry Sky University, which ranks first on Blue Star, to obtain the top-level cultivation method, and then use the 20 years of university to develop rapidly, build his own laboratory and power to help himself cultivate. But after hearing the news from the military from Hanfeng, Chen Mo's heart was shaken. He has already got a chance to choose the top-level cultivation method from the library reward, and he has also obtained the true immortal level 9 turns golden body sutra from the secret realm. In terms of the method, he is no longer lacking. The rest is the cultivation resources, but if the resources have a golden finger, he is not too worried. The only difference is the length of time to obtain them. After analysis, the only two things that make Chen Mo a little entangled are time and risk. If you choose to follow the route of studying in college, you don't know how long it will take to cultivate to become an immortal, and the risk will be relatively small. If you choose to go to the military's blood underworld for special training, the time to cultivate to become an immortal will definitely be much shorter, and the risk will be relatively much greater. Every choice means different variables in the future. How to choose? Chen Mo thought for a while. How about making a wish? Make a wish. I want to know which choice has a higher chance of becoming an immortal, training in the military department of the Blood Netherworld or studying at the Starry Sky University. The information of this world is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. The wish takes too long to complete, and there is interference from unknown existence. The wish failed. Seeing the handwriting in his mind, Chen Mo couldn't help but be surprised. This was the first time he failed to make a wish. The wish takes a long time, and there is an unknown existence. What the hell? This hint vaguely confirmed Chen Mo's previous speculation that the golden finger is not omnipotent. The success rate of wishing is related to the size of the wish and the environment involved. After sorting out this idea, Chen Mo was not discouraged. In this case, then first cultivate the first-grade Immortal Bone and step into the key training and body training realm. Go back and see what the people from the military say. Then, this summer vacation is just right to do the things at hand. Eliminate the doubts in your heart. Not long after, Chen Mo received a call from his mother Liu Wei. She would not have time to come back from the factory for a few days, while her sister Chen Yuan went back to her grandmother's place in the countryside after school. After Chen Mo had a brief chat with Liu Wei for a while, he agreed that she, her father and her sister would all come back home in a few days. He had something good for them, and then he hung up the phone. Chen Mo was going to help Liu Wei and her father Chen Shuling take the longevity pill to prolong their lives, and to adjust their bodies to embark on the path of cultivating immortals again. With his parents' age, they could still practice again with his help. Although one of them had 5 spiritual roots and the other had 6 spiritual roots, their spiritual roots were as rubbish as they could be. But who told Chen Mo to have a cheat? Even if their qualifications were poor, Chen Mo planned to use resources to pile them up to the high level of key training, or even the foundation building stage. When their lifespans were extended, Chen Mo's strength would naturally be improved and he would have more ways to help them resume their immortal path. He still remembered that when he made his first wish, he went to the Buried Sword Valley on Mars and polished his sword for 18 years to get the first-grade Immortal Bone. Presumably, when it comes to his parents, he can skip the 108 body tempering techniques and find other ways. As for Chen Yuan, it is much simpler. Chen Mo plans to let her continue her path, give her enough resources to cultivate the first-grade Immortal Bone, and then enter the Starry Sky University to practice peacefully. Next, Chen Mo called Zhou Yan. After asking about her situation next month, he made an appointment to meet and talk, and then hung up the phone. He still had to wait until he was promoted to the key training realm before making the specific arrangements on Zhou Yan's side. After being promoted to the key training realm, he planned to register the Motian laboratory and establish the Motian pavilion as soon as possible. At that time, some of his rights and interests will be protected by federal laws, and some of the things he got from making wishes can be sold through the laboratory's trading channels. At that time, he can use a little Linghao wine to build a reputation in the market, and then develop the Wuling wine in his hand to start earning him spirit stones and points. Motian Pavilion will be his power in the world of immortal cultivation, and also his eyes and ears in the world of immortal cultivation. Then, Chen Mo called Wu Yong and asked him to take some time to get together now. Chen Mo recognized Wu Yong as his brother. Whether it was the deep friendship in this body's memory or Wu Yong's way of doing things, Chen Mo admired them very much. As the saying goes, if you become rich, don't forget each other. Now that he has become rich, Chen Mo also wants to help Wu Yong. However, he needs to ask for his opinion on some ideas. Half a day later, Wu Yong rushed to Chen Mo's house from the school library. Wow, Chen Mo, How did you improve so much in cultivation? After meeting, Wu Yong couldn't help but be shocked by Chen Mo's cultivation. This was of course a hint of martial arts that Chen Mo deliberately revealed. For Wu Yong, this brother, in addition to the existence of the golden finger, there is no need to hide many things, which can also make Wu Yong more convinced of his future plans. As his cultivation is revealed, it can't be concealed. This time in the underground secret realm, I have gained a lot. Chen Mo smiled modestly. After speaking, he put his hand on Wu Yong's shoulder and tried it with his true key, and then he knew Wu Yong's martial arts realm. The middle stage of bone forging. Previously, he gave Wu Yong the bottle of tiger demon bone refining paste that Su Cheng rewarded him, just to help him improve his cultivation. It seems that you haven't been lazy this month. Wu Yong shook his head, looking like he couldn't catch up, and sighed, how dare I, you are already innate, and I am still refining bones. The gap between us is getting bigger and bigger. In response, Chen Mo encouraged, don't be discouraged, you should know that more than a month ago you were only in the skin refining realm. From refining skin, refining flesh, and refining bones. You have crossed 6 or 7 small realms, and your progress is not bad. Wu Yong shook his head and pretended to be exaggerated and dissatisfied. Compared to you, I am still far behind. You are a poor student, how can you suddenly become a genius, and improve from the last to the top 10 in the grade in a short time? I study hard every day, why don't I have such good luck? God is unfair. Chen Mo smiled and shook his head, and chatted with him for a few words. They talked about some of the secret realms, and when they talked about future plans, Wu Yong suddenly became excited. With his current martial arts realm and academic performance, it is almost certain that he will be admitted to the Department of Taoism in the college entrance examination. You know, he originally had poor martial arts aptitude and did not like to practice. He had been prepared to rely on academic performance to resist. Who knew that with the help of Chen Mo's resources, his martial arts broke through one after another. This final exam has far exceeded the scoreline of 810 points for the Department of Taoism. At this time, Chen Mo thought about the arrangements in his mind and said seriously, Wu Yong, you chose the hot weapon elective course because you had poor martial arts aptitude and no cultivation resources. Now that your martial arts realm has been improved, I wonder if you have any ideas about future cultivation. If you want to cultivate high-quality immortal bones, you still have to comprehend the artistic conception before the innate realm. Have you considered taking the path of cold weapons and traditional cultivation in the future? Hearing Chen Mo's serious question, Wu Yong's eyebrows moved. He understood Chen Mo's implication. If he chooses to take the path of cold ice weapons again, Chen Mo will come to help him. Just like he was willing to take time to tutor Chen Mo's academic performance. With Chen Mo's current artistic conception, strength, resources and the relationship between them, he can definitely help him. Wu Yong did not rush to answer this question, but lowered his head and thought seriously. Chen Mo is making more and more progress, and the gap between him and him may be more difficult to cross in the future. So what path should he take? Chapter 48, Innate Perfection. Chen Mo, I still want to go the hot weapon route. After careful consideration, Wu Yong gave his final answer. Hearing this choice, Chen Mo raised his eyebrows. He was silent for a while. Finally, he asked, why, are you worried that there will not be enough resources for cultivation in the future? If this is the reason, you can rest assured. I have another opportunity in the secret realm, and the Federation has rewarded 1,000 points. If you need any resources in the future, just come to me directly. Wu Yong shook his head and looked at Chen Mo seriously. Chen Mo, I understand what you mean, but I'm not really interested in traditional immortal cultivation. What I'm really interested in is scientific immortal cultivation. Isn't it the combination of scientific and immortal cultivation that has enabled our blue star to rise so quickly? I'm thinking that the power of the central Hongmeng Array spirit computer has been developed to the point where it has surpassed many immortal magical powers. And traditional immortal cultivation has spiritual differentiation. In the future, why can't I study scientific immortal cultivation to the extreme and realize the division of the soul and inject it into the immortal sky-based puppet that has lasted for hundreds of millions of years? In this way, as long as our souls are immortal, isn't it equivalent to the eternal immortality of the flesh and billions of clones? In addition, I'm also interested in the field of energy conversion. Now our blue star's spiritual power has only recovered to the 2nd level world, and the blood underworld is the 9th level world. If we can study the energy source factors of the blood underworld, can we crush and decompose the spiritual power of the blue star world, reassemble and upgrade it, so that our ancestral star can leapfrog to the higher level world? As Wu Yuang narrated his ideals one by one. At this moment, Chen Mo seemed to see light in Wu Yuang's eyes. It seems that this brother is really interested in the scientific way of cultivating immortals. Wu Yuang's ideas have not been proposed by anyone in Blue Star, but they are only a concept so far. There are many things in the level of the rules of heaven and earth, which are not accessible to them now. In Chen Mo's opinion, these theoretical concepts are even more difficult than his cultivation to become an immortal. However, seeing this, Chen Mo also understood Wu Yuang's ambition and had his plan in mind. Okay, since you have this idea, I support you. After I advance to key training in a few days, I will register a Motion laboratory, and I will need a group of immortal scientific researchers in the future. I wonder if you are willing to help manage it. Hearing this, Wu Yuang's eyes brightened a little. Really? As long as you don't despise my low realm and do research, I am happy to do it. Haha. Wu Yuang responded with a smile. In these short 1 or 2 months, Wu Yuang could see that Chen Mo must have obtained some mysterious opportunity. Others can be dealt with by Chen Mo's epiphany. He and Chen Mo are so close, how could he not know Chen Mo's details? However, after Chen Mo rose to prominence, he never had the slightest thought of coveting Chen Mo's secrets. Instead, he was happy for this good brother from the bottom of his heart. Sometimes he would envy him in his heart for a while, but he was also determined to follow his own path. Maybe he could not catch up with Chen Mo on the traditional path of cultivating immortals, but as long as he could walk the path of scientific cultivation, he might not have no chance to catch up with Chen Mo in the future. What a joke I am making with you. Chen Mo smiled and joked. But although you choose to take the path of hot weapons and scientific cultivation, but I still suggest that you comprehend the artistic conception before the innate realm, so that you can give birth to high-quality immortal bones and go a long way on the path of cultivating immortals. Otherwise, even if you study the theory more deeply, it will be in vain without a long life. Wu Yuang nodded and expressed his approval. But then his brows wrinkled into the shape of a Chuan character. He stroked his head and said, I would like to, but I don't have enough time to temper my bones every day, let alone comprehend the artistic conception that I don't know where to start. After hearing Wu Yuang's complaints, Chen Mo lowered his head and pondered for a while, then said, during this summer vacation, you should first cultivate the bone refining realm to perfection. I will give you something to help you comprehend the artistic conception. Then, Chen Mo directly transferred 100 points from his library points to Wu Yuang. Here are 100 points. I borrowed 10 points from you last time. The rest is my gift to you. The library's advanced training room and top-grade secret medicine are available. Feel free to use them. After saying that, he stretched out his hand to stop Wu Yuang from thanking him. He added, feel free to use the resources. I have only one request, that you must break through the bone refining perfection at least this month. Wu Yuang nodded excitedly. Don't worry, I'm not a fool if I don't seize this kind of cheap opportunity. Later, after Chen Mo talked to Wu Yuang about some future arrangements, he felt that some things in his heart were finally sorted out. In fact, after crossing over, he used 1 minute as 2 minutes and never had a moment of leisure. Now he just waited a few days to give his parents the longevity pill to help them embark on the path of cultivation again. When they all grow up, he won't have to worry about some trivial matters, and he can focus on cultivation. I don't know why, but Chen Mo always felt a sense of urgency after leaving the secret realm. Especially after talking with Han Feng and learning about the special recruitment of the military. After all, my strength is too low. Finally, Chen Mo sighed helplessly. Forget it. Thinking about these things is useless. It's better to hurry up and improve my cultivation. Especially after Chen Mo finished refining the innate gourd vine in the secret realm, he has not really observed the changes in his body carefully. Since he started refining the innate gourd vine a few days ago, Chen Mo felt that his body was constantly improving. This improvement did not give him huge physical strength all at once, but was undergoing a transformation from every subtle part of his body. At this moment, when Chen Mo focused his mind on the changes in his body, he discovered that his body was no longer the same as before. It seemed that every cell in his body was full of cheers and joy. A strong vitality emanated from his body, just like a young seedling that had just broken through the ground and thrived. It was like a baby that had just fallen from the mother's womb. His body gave him a sense of innateness that was not polluted by the turbid air of the world. This was the magical effect of the innate gourd vine. Moreover, Chen Mo felt that this subtle change was still going on rapidly. He had a feeling that it would not be long before the fifth marrow washing and blood refining in his body would be carried out automatically, and even under the effect of the innate gourd vine, he did not need to take any secret medicine to assist. In this case, then strike while the iron is hot. Seize this opportunity to directly break through the innate perfection. Chen Mo retracted his mind, immediately returned to the room to sit cross-legged and take a pill of Ding Shen Dan, then took out a black wind-broken sword and began to comprehend the storm sword intent. The ice water intent had already been completed, and the storm sword intent was missing. Time passed slowly. 2 days later, the transformation of Chen Mo's body by the innate gourd vine finally ended, and the fifth marrow washing and blood refining in his body was also completed silently. The innate realm was perfect. When he completed the last marrow washing and blood refining, a mysterious change suddenly occurred in Chen Mo's body. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49, Dark Butterfly Plague. When Chen Mo broke through to the fifth level of blood refining and reached the innate perfection. After the fifth refining, the blood in Chen Mo's body began to emit wisps of light golden color. As these light golden blood flows through the membrane, muscles, meridians, bones, and 5 internal organs of Chen Mo's body, extremely tiny ice blue diamond particles will emerge from every tiny place. These mysterious ice blue particles slowly gather towards the danshin in Chen Mo's body. The embryonic form of the immortal bone. Chen Mo noticed the changes in his body and his expression moved. This is a sign that the immortal bone is about to be born. He noticed that with the appearance of these ice blue particles, his connection with the ice and water between heaven and earth became closer and closer. At the same time, there was a faint sword intent lingering around him all the time. After realizing this, Chen Mo used his consciousness to slowly suppress the condensation speed of the immortal bone. His storm sword intent was still a little short of perfection. He had a hunch that when he comprehended the storm sword intent to perfection, the innate magical power generated by his immortal bone would definitely be more amazing. Hold on a little longer, it will be soon. Chen Mo suppressed the condensation speed of the immortal bone while quickly comprehending the storm sword intent. Just as Chen Mo continued to immerse himself in comprehending the storm sword intent. On this day, a space battleship sailed out from Mars and broke through the universe and landed on the ancestral land of Blue Star. After the space battleship landed, countless people walked out of the space battleship. Some of them were interstellar hunters, some were elite immortal cultivators from major businesses and family forces, and some were soldiers who came back from the battles in the interstellar sea and other worlds to rest. After landing, these people submitted their documents, passed through the rainbow light inspection at the checkpoint, and quickly dispersed to various cities on Blue Star. At this time, a group of middle-aged men and women who looked a little mysterious and dressed in black robes were also mixed in the crowd and came to the exit safely with their documents. Destroy Blue Star, and the plague immortal will bless you. Destroy Blue Star, and the plague immortal will bless you. Destroy Blue Star, and the plague immortal will bless you. When these people walked to the exit, they quickly whispered with their spiritual sense, and then quickly walked towards the major cities on Blue Star with their respective tasks. 2 hours later, Jianchang City. A mysterious female cultivator, wearing a black robe and with a beautiful face, stood in an office of Changliu building, looking down at a middle-aged man with a wealthy face standing in front of her. You are Liu Sanchu, mentioned by Te Wu Yi. Liu Sanchu stood in the office, raised his hand with a slightly respectful look and said, "Yes, I wonder what mission the envoy has arranged for you." 3 days ago, Liu Sanchu received a call that had not been heard for 10 years. That person was Te Wu Yi, mentioned by the woman on the other side. This person can be said to be Liu Sanchu's reincarnation benefactor. On the phone, he was asked to fully assist a woman to do something, and he agreed without thinking at the time. Because he, Liu Sanchu, was able to rise from a small key training cultivator to the foundation building stage and establish Changliu Group, all thanks to the help of this person more than 10 years ago. He also had some handles in his hand that could not be seen in the light, which were held by the other party. The mysterious woman looked at Liu Sanchu coldly, and then said indifferently, Within one day, you will give me a list of all the geniuses under the age of 20 in Jiangchen. Liu Sanchu frowned instinctively at the other party's dictatorial attitude, feeling a little unhappy. After all, he was also a person with a foundation-building realm. He was nothing in the battlefield of the other world, but he was also a well-known figure in Jiangcheng for many years. I don't know what the envoy wants this list for. The black-robed female cultivator heard the words, and her eyes suddenly turned cold, and an oppressive murderous aura enveloped Liu Sanchu. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask, it's not good for you. Feeling the murderous intent in the other party's eyes, Liu Sanchu's pupils couldn't help shrinking. At this moment, he seemed to really feel a fatal danger that could kill him. Yes. Liu Sanchu put away the contempt in his heart, cupped his hands, and asked respectfully. I don't know what the standard of genius is in the envoy's mouth. The black-robed female cultivator frowned and threw out a sentence coldly. Innate realm under 20 years old, and all double spiritual root and single spiritual root geniuses. As soon as the voice fell, the other party's figure quickly became illusory. Seeing the other party's quickly disappearing figure, Liu Sanchu frowned unconsciously. What does she want the list of these geniuses for? Could it be that Zushan Tower wants to collect geniuses on Blue Star to train? I don't know why, he always feels that the task given to him by Taiwai this time is very difficult. This woman is very mysterious. After thinking about it, Liu Sanchu made a decision in his heart. It is more important to complete the task first. If something happens, he only provided a list, which should not affect him. Then, Liu Sanchu went to prepare to collect a list, and carefully crossed out the name of his son Liu Hai afterwards. After leaving Liu Sanchu, the black-robed female cultivator soon appeared in the streets of Jiangcheng City. Seeing the towering skyscrapers and various high-tech equipment and facilities on Blue Star with her own eyes, she couldn't help but show a trace of surprise in her eyes. What a prosperous world. The civilization of this Blue Star is indeed unique. It's a pity that we shouldn't be enemies of the Plague Immortal sect. She glanced around with a cold look and came to a hidden place. Then she carefully took out a cage from the beast-controlling ring. There was a group of black butterflies in the cage. The black-robed woman opened the cage and whispered, Plague Butterfly, go and let this foreign land be filled with your breath. Soon, a group of coin-sized black butterflies flapped their wings and flew towards the sky of Jiangcheng. Each butterfly would leave a trace of powder in the air when flapping its wings. This trace of powder would quickly spread on the crowd. This scene quickly played out in several major cities of Blue Star. Time came to the afternoon. A plague suddenly appeared in major hospitals in Jiangcheng, and this plague quickly spread among the crowd. If you are infected with this plague, some gray spots will appear on your body. These spots will not hurt or itch when they fall on people, but they will not harm people's lives. At first, no one noticed this plague, and those who discovered it did not take it seriously. After all, in today's era of immortal cultivation, a few harmless gray spots on the body will not cause fear. But as more and more people were infected with the plague, it was slowly discovered that the life source of people with such spots on their bodies seemed to be swallowed by something, and gradually became weak. This situation soon alarmed the top leaders of major cities. Various medical masters and alchemy masters were gathered together for research. But they found that this plague was not so easy to crack for a while. The only thing to be thankful for is that this plague will not kill people. At most it will only affect the life source a little bit. At this time, the Federation immediately turned on the central Hongmeng Array Spirit Computer to calculate the source of this plague. Soon the Array Spirit Computer locked the source of the plague on the black butterflies in the air, and sent patrols to quickly eliminate all the black butterflies in the air. But at this time, the plague has spread rapidly in various cities. Many people have been infected with these gray spots. Chapter 51st Great Immortal Bones. Extraordinary magical powers. In just one day, the plague spread rapidly in Jiangcheng. The lower the cultivation level, the easier it is to be infected. At this time, the high-level monks of Blue Star who had fought in the Blood Netherrealm gradually reacted and guessed that this plague was very similar to the plague evil magic of a sect in the legend. This gray spot on the body is not a disease strictly speaking, but more like a seed of some evil breath, which is convenient for performing evil magic. In order to quickly and thoroughly crack this evil magic, it is necessary to find the source of this evil magic and find out the purpose of the other party. After reaching this conclusion, the entire Blue Star began to secretly investigate suspicious persons, and first focused on the people who entered Blue Star recently. But after starting the Array Spirit Computer, It was helpless to find that from the Starry Sky battleship that entered yesterday to the next month. The identities and traces of all the incoming people are normal, and no further clues have been investigated. The solution now is to wait for this evil magic to break out, find the caster and kill him. The second is to research a method to eliminate this kind of spot aura. The current method is for high-level monks to use their cultivation to remove it, but with the speed of the plague spreading, this method is obviously not suitable for large-scale deployment. The third is to enable a higher-level central Hongmeng array spirit computer to explore, but to enable that level has already involved some high-level members of the Federation, and the Federal Parliament needs to make a decision. The current plague is not yet at the level of enabling that level of exploration. Just as Jiang Cheng began to enter a tense plague investigation, Chen Mo closed the door to comprehend the storm sword intent at a critical juncture. During this period, he received calls from his parents and Wu Yuang. After learning that no one had a big problem, he did not distract himself to deal with this matter. Anyway, it does not involve life safety. With so many high-level monks and the Federation dealing with it, there must be a response plan, and Chen Mo does not need to worry about it. Otherwise, the entire Blue Star civilization would have been destroyed countless times. In Chen Mo's room. At this time, the sword intent wind explosion lingering around him became more and more intense. Countless sword theories and sword intentions about the artistic conception of the sword evolved in his mind, and the sword intentions that were connected to the heaven and earth poured into his body for purification again and again. Time passed slowly. Suddenly, an amazing sword intention condensed in Chen Mo's eyes. Zhang. A clear sword sound suddenly came from his body. Storm sword intention is completed. Chen Mo opened his eyes suddenly, and countless sword intentions seemed to pass through his eyes. With a mysterious black wind-broken sword, countless nourishing incense, calming pills, 6-leaf cold lotus and many resources, he finally comprehended the storm sword intention to the greatest. The ice-water artistic conception is completed, and the storm sword intention is completed. Finally, the immortal bone can be born perfectly. At this moment, Chen Mo released his consciousness suppression. Countless ice-water true intentions and sword true intentions in the world quickly poured into Chen Mo's body for the last bit of purification. These true intentions silently entered every subtle part of Chen Mo's body, making the ice blue diamond particles in his body more and more transparent and pure. These ice blue diamond particles, driven by the blood in the body, slowly settled down and gathered together when flowing through Chen Mo's danshan. If someone was around at this time, they would notice that at this moment, Chen Mo's body was faintly revealing an ice blue crystal light. The immortal bone condensed. Sensing the changes in the body, Chen Mo relaxed his body, untied his mind, and let his consciousness remain in a natural state. According to the 108 body tempering secrets, the last step of condensing the immortal bone takes about 1 to 4 hours. This process does not require any interference, just keep a quiet and relaxed state. The longer the time to condense the immortal bone, the higher the aptitude of the immortal bone. Time passed slowly. The embryonic form of the immortal bone in Chen Mo's danshan gradually took the shape of an ice blue long sword, emitting a clear and bright Taoist aura. Don't think, don't do. Chen Mo kept his inner thoughts clear. Let the changes of the immortal bone in the body follow. 1 hour, 2 hours, 8 hours. Just when the 9th hour passed, Chen Mo's body suddenly shook. It was as if there was a sound of evening drum and morning bell ringing in his head. In his danshan, a 9-inch long sword bone with ice blue fluorescence was completely formed. At the moment when the sword bone was condensed, Chen Mo found that he had established an extremely close connection with the world. The countless innate true ki in his body seemed to be cheering and jumping for joy. The spiritual energy around him began to spontaneously flow into Chen Mo's body and slowly converted the original innate true ki in his body into innate spiritual power. In the past, Chen Mo's body had no spiritual roots, and absorbing spiritual power was like rootless water that could not be contained at all. Only by refining and transforming spiritual power into internal ki through exercises can it be retained in the body. Now that his immortal bone has been formed, it can directly absorb the spiritual power between heaven and earth. Chen Mo has a sense of confidence. If he now turns to practice ki training to refine these innate true ki in his body, he will have the hope of achieving 3 realms a day. More importantly, with the immortal bone, Chen Mo feels that he has established a close connection with the world. He can use this inexplicable connection to understand the principles and rules between heaven and earth. This is the foundation of cultivating immortals. Chen Mo's eyebrows jumped, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. After working so hard for so long, he finally cultivated a first-grade immortal bone. That's right, the moment the immortal bone in Chen Mo's body condensed and formed, he knew that his immortal bone grade was a first-grade immortal bone. This was a kind of perception from the dark. Moreover, his immortal bone was the ice sword bone of ice attribute, which was the top among the first-grade ones. The first-grade immortal bone, when placed in the immortal spiritual root, was equivalent to the top-level single spiritual root qualification. A genius among geniuses. When the immortal bone gathers, the supernatural power emerges. I don't know what kind of supernatural power he will produce when he condenses the immortal bone. Chen Mo put his mind on the immortal bone in his body with a trace of curiosity. There was a natural rune printed on the immortal bone. It was a rune of divine power given by heaven. Chen Mo's mind fell on the rune, and he instantly understood what his supernatural power was. Ice Sword Domain. This is an extraordinary supernatural power of the domain type. Rise. Knowing his own supernatural power, Chen Mo thought about it, and the rune on the immortal bone in his body flashed with spiritual light, and a surge of power surged out. In an instant, the room where Chen Mo was located turned into an extremely icy world. Whether it was tables, chairs, beds, books, or furniture, a thick layer of white ice formed on the surface. Everything in the room was frozen in an instant, as if everything was suffocated and frozen with a thick layer of black ice, emitting a cold and icy breath. Moreover, Chen Mo knew that in his mind, in this 3-meter circle frozen sword domain, he could condense the spiritual power ice sword to strangle all enemies. Looking at the room, it seemed as if you had instantly entered the Arctic ice world. Chen Mo exclaimed with joy. What a domineering magical power! With this magical power, there is no need to cast spells when fighting against the enemy. He can freeze and lock the enemy in a thought, making it impossible to defend against it. Moreover, the innate magical power born from the immortal bone will become stronger as his strength grows. With this innate magical power, Chen Mo has the will to fight, and he dares to fight across levels. No wonder two spiritual geniuses like Song Yihan would come to practice 108 body tempering techniques. With this innate magical power, it is worth it for these geniuses to plot. 108 body tempering techniques is truly the greatest martial arts invention of mankind in the 21st century. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.